the turn of the 20th century, a neighborhood in Gloucester's working waterfront known as the Fort was home to an enclave of Sicilian immigrants whose lives revolved around three things: God, family, and fishing. Gloucester was becoming America's largest seaport, and work was plentiful. Immigrants arrived for a hard but better life on one of the hundreds of fishing vessels in the local fleet. They were instilled with an unyielding devotion to the patron saint of fishermen, and brought with them an annual religious tradition that blossomed into the most popular attraction in all of Cape Ann. I'm Corey Kukuru for 1623 Studios, and this is the story of St. Peter's Fiesta. In 1926, fishing captain Salvatore Favazza wanted to replicate in Gloucester a custom from his birthplace of Favorata Terracini, of thanking St. Peter for fair seas and abundant catches. He commissioned a sculptor to build a statue of St. Peter that, to Captain Favazza's surprise, arrived at his home nearly life-size, standing 5 feet tall and weighing 600 pounds. Fishermen's wives hailed its arrival with a novena, 9 days of song and prayer for their husbands at sea, in the Favazza's backyard. After the 9th day, all 600 pounds of St. Peter sat in the window of the Favazza family grocery and boat supply store on Beach Court. But the fishermen's wives wanted the statue to be honored the way it was in the old country, by taking it outdoors, mounting it to a platform, and parading around the fort so every family could rejoice. Women collected $1 from each fishing boat and built a proper altar to rest the statue. In June of 1927, in accordance with the Feast of St. Peter's and Paul, a Roman holiday of public worship, St. Peter's Fiesta began. The Fort families opened their homes with endless amounts of food and homemade wine. Decorative quilts and bedspreads hung from windows. Opera blared through the streets. The fishing fleet stayed in to celebrate, every boat painted and bannered. Fireworks were launched off Pavilion Beach as fishermen dressed in all white carried St. Peter on their shoulders, marching and chanting, "Avanzamo tutte mute! Viva St. Peter! Avanzamo tutte mute! Viva St. Peter!" They went to the water's edge and blessed the statue, signifying the start of Fiesta. As Gloucester began to embrace this new occasion, organizers wanted St. Peter's Fiesta to last multiple days and rival Boston's famous Fisherman's Feast, an annual citywide festival in the North End. The first order of business was to build a spectacular altar that could fit the statue, musical entertainment, and a Sunday benediction. Emilio Matarazzo, a contractor who ran a warehouse with his 4 sons in Chinatown, became Fiesta's official decorator. The Matarazzos strung lights along Commercial Street and built jaw-dropping altars that mimicked famous churches along the Mediterranean, such as Avellino Cathedral in Sicily and St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. The first altars rose above homes along Beach Court, standing 70 feet tall and 50 feet wide. Hundreds of yards of cloth, paper, and foil were pinned to the massive shrines. 10,000 electric lights lit up the night. To the people of the fort, it was heaven on earth. Party games for children and competitions for adults began to take prominence. The most popular event in Fiesta's early years was the seine boat races off Pavilion Beach. At that time, first seine fishing was the main fishing method of the Sicilian fleet. Seine fishing nets are dropped vertically in the water, its bottom edge weighed down with heavy rings, its top edge floated at the surface with buoys. A line runs through the rings, and once the nets are filled with fish, they are pursed up by a seine boat, then hauled onto a bigger boat. Seine boats could hold an entire fishing crew, and since the fleet stayed in for Fiesta, challenges amongst fellow boats as well as groups of neighborhood friends were inevitable. Prizes in the first competitions were gold pieces worth up to $10. Crews today, including women's teams which began in 1995, and juniors, row in designated seine boats named Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria towards a flag anchored half a mile off Pavilion Beach, before making the 180-degree turn and racing to shore. The first boat to reach the beach wins an American flag. Second place earns an Italian flag. But the real prize is the bond amongst the rowers and bragging rights. Contending crews bust each other's chops decades after the races are run. The other featured competition, the Greasy Pole Contest, is another custom from Italy that remains Fiesta's biggest crowd pleaser. Pole walking and climbing, as a measure of manliness, became popular in Europe in the 15th century. Contestants walked or climbed poles slathered in mud, animal fat, and fish oil for a chance to snatch prizes like musical instruments and fresh food. The Greasy Pole of St. Peter's Fiesta is walked. The first contest took place at the playground area of the fort, the pole jutting out dangerously from the rocky shoreline, parallel to the ocean's surface. As Fiesta became a larger spectacle, the pole was moved to a platform 200 feet off Pavilion Beach, with a 40-foot telephone pole covered in grease, which nowadays is biodegradable. Contestants walk in honor of someone in the fishing fleet, usually a relative. They take turns trying to grab a flag nailed to the end of the pole. There are 2 rules. Don't grab the flag during the opening courtesy round, or you'll get a beating, and keep an eye on the person walking before you. For decades now, most contestants dress in elaborate costumes, and when the walkers pile onto a boat that slowly shepherds them to the platform, tens of thousands of onlookers go crazy. The event spans 3 days, with Friday's winner advancing to Saturday, and Saturday's winner advancing to Sunday. Sundays are reserved for champions who compete until they retire. When the flag is finally grabbed, the champion is swum back to shore, lifted on the shoulders of the other walkers, and carried to a nearby shrine, then to the altar. The champs, like the same boat race winners, become part of Fiesta legend and lore. The true spirit of Fiesta, purists will tell you, is rooted in religion. And for as long as anyone can remember, the highlight of the festival has been the Sunday procession of St. Peter's statue through downtown Gloucester, the tradition the fishermen's wives insisted on at the Fiesta's inception. Back then, the wives walked barefoot as a gesture of devotion. Months before the parade, families assemble ornate floats that recreate biblical scenes and sew homemade costumes that depict angels, saints, and other religious icons. Sunday morning begins with an outdoor mass at the altar in St. Peter's Square, adjacent to the fort. Then, Fiesta committee members, dressed in their traditional all-white clothing, lead the 2-mile parade with marching bands, dignitaries, and supportive community floats. Thousands line the streets, many dress for church and wearing symbolic buttons with St. Peter's likeness. The route includes stops along the city's main Catholic churches, where St. Peter is blessed by clergy, St. Anne's Parish, as well as Our Lady of Good Voyage in Gloucester's predominantly Portuguese section. In fact, the Portuguese community introduced a hugely important part of Fiesta, the blessing of the fleet. As World War II neared its end, the congregation at Our Lady of Good Voyage began the ritual of marching a statue of the Virgin Mary of Fatima to the end of State Fish Pier at Gloucester's Inner Harbor. There, the Archbishop of the Boston Diocese blessed hundreds of gathered vessels, calling each by name. The Italian community began to participate and slowly adopted the blessing into Fiesta. Two marginalized and sometimes rivalrous immigrant communities came together. By the 1950s, the blessing of the fleet moved to Stacy Boulevard and became a signature event. Fiesta concludes with a final late-night procession as St. Peter's statue is returned from the altar to his usual resting spot inside the front window of the nearby St. Peter's Club, under a hail of confetti and song. Today, a public novena featuring the very prayers and songs recited by fishermen's wives a century ago lead into a 4-day carnival that helps support the Fiesta and its activities. The fishing fleet is just a fraction of what it used to be. And the fort has evolved from a cozy Sicilian neighborhood that always had a full plate for passerby and never locked its doors. Locals keep that spirit alive through cookouts, reunions, and parties. But the meaning of St. Peter's Fiesta remains steeped in the fort's old country beliefs: God, family, and fishing. So if you find yourself in Gloucester late in June, like tens of thousands of others, look for the altar with the life-size statue. Wear something red, white, and green, grab a Eats, and follow along when you hear the chant,
Viva St. Peter! Viva St. Peter!
The following special presentation of the 2025 St. Peter's Fiesta, live from Gloucester, Massachusetts, is brought to you by St. Peter's Fiesta Incorporated, Bridge Cape Ann, Streamography Productions, 1623 Studios, and Live Now from Fox. Welcome to Pavilion Beach in Gloucester, Massachusetts, for live coverage of St. Peter's Fiesta, a nearly 100-year-old religious tradition brought here from Sicily, where faith meets fierce competition on the water. For 3 days, we're bringing you wall-to-wall coverage of two of Fiesta's most iconic events, the Sailboat Races, born right here as friendly rivalries between Italian fishing crews, racing the very boats they use to feed their families and our community. And the Greasy Pole Contest, a tradition dating back to 15th century Europe, once seen as a measure of manhood, now the most popular attraction on Cape Ann. This year, history and bragging rights are on the line. We'll have a bird's eye view of the elimination and final races in the women's, juniors, and men's divisions. And we all want to know, will Derek Hopkins win his 7th straight Greasy Pole flag? Whether you're here in Gloucester or watching from an ocean away, Viva San Pietro! This is St. Peter's Fiesta. And Bona Fiesta, everybody. Welcome to beautiful and historic Gloucester, Massachusetts, the site of the 98th St. Peter's Fiesta, our biggest annual attraction and our proudest tradition here since 1927. This is the 2025 Greasy Pole Contest and Sailboat Race.
brought to you live from Pavilion Beach, overlooking beautiful Gloucester Harbor here. Hello, everybody. I am your host, Corey Kukru of Bridge Cape and 1623 Studios. We have 3 full days of wall-to-wall coverage of the sporting events here for St. Peter's Fiesta, including the 2 different divisions of men's and women's sailboat races, seniors and juniors. We also have the Greasy Pole contest a little later on today, where there are, believe it or not, more than 130 walkers braving the elements all weekend long to capture the flag. Today, we have the women's senior sailboat finals and the women's junior sailboat finals, sandwiching our signature event, the Greasy Pole. Now, the rowers have been practicing for weeks and competing in elimination races up to today, and Fridays are dedicated to the female athletes. This is, in fact, the 30th year that women have been competing against one another, a tremendous milestone. Of course, we all know everyone loves the Greasy Pole, and we have 43 brave souls walking today for a chance to advance to Saturday's contest. Now, if you're new to St. Peter's Fiesta, let me give you a sense of who we are, what this is, and why we do it. Gloucester, Massachusetts is about 35 miles north of Boston. It's the 7th oldest city in the United States. We recently celebrated our 400th anniversary in 2023. We are one of the first seaports in the country, as well as an artist colony. In fact, there are more artists here today than fishermen. But our identity has always been tied to the fishing industry. Gloucester is one of the world's largest fishing ports from the 1600s through the 1950s. In fact, we were the largest fishing port in the U.S. during World War II. So if you've ever heard of the Gordon's Fisherman or Bird's Eye Frozen Foods, that's us. Gordon's logo is the famous Fisherman's Memorial statue commemorating more than 10,000 Gloucester fishermen who lost their lives at sea. Gloucester is also the setting of the former TV show Wicked Tuna, The Perfect Storm with George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg, and the Oscar-winning film Coda. Our descendants here are from the Canadian Maritimes, Great Britain, Scandinavia, Portugal, especially the Azores, in Italy, especially Sicily. And St. Peter's Fiesta is a tradition that was brought to Gloucester in 1927 from a Sicilian immigrant named Salvatore Favazza. He commissioned a statue of St. Peter, the patron saint of fishermen, and it arrived almost life-size, nearly 5 feet tall and 600 pounds. And when it arrived, the fishermen's wives insisted on parading the statue throughout the neighborhood like they did in the old country so that all the families here could rejoice. The entire event was funded by the fishing fleet at that time. Every fishing boat would tip in like $1 or so to make this festival happen. And the fiesta is all about praying to and thanking St. Peter for the safety of the fishermen and abundant catches. The Pavilion Beach that you're looking out from now is part of the Fort neighborhood, an Italian enclave that's been the home to St. Peter's Fiesta since its inception. And back in the day, the entire neighborhood here left their doors open so everyone could sort of come in and celebrate, enjoy homemade food, homemade wine. That's how we do it here. And it's a tradition I said has been going on nearly 100 years now. Now, we know there are people watching all over the world, especially friends and family in Italy or in large Italian-American settlements here throughout the country. And we know right from the top that it's festa and not fiesta. However, things got Americanized when this festival came to be, and it's just sort of always been called fiesta. There's a Medigani involved somewhere in there that probably lost track of something or misspelled it. But that's why it is fiesta and not festa for us. But we do want to say St. Peter's Fiesta is more than sports. It's like our religious version of Mardi Gras. It is all about God, family, and fishing. The population in Gloucester is about 30,000. It actually doubles during this time of year. Now, the fiesta's been going on already. It's coincided with a 9-day novena where folks can pray for anyone past or present. There's a giant altar behind us here where it's situated today, where entertainment and religious activities take place, including a mass on Sunday. There's also a carnival going on. You'll be hearing those sounds as well, where everyone's sort of walking around eating a fried dough or sausage, peppers, and onions and having a giant reunion. There's kids' games and contests. There's a huge parade of the St. Peter statue throughout the city on Sunday. Also, the entire blessing of the fleet, the fishing fleet here, happens on Sunday as well with someone from the Archdiocese and Boston. And this happens to be the most popular attraction for locals and visitors. It is the Greasy Pole contest and the sailboat races. So I want to bring in my longtime friend and co-host here, John Nicastro. How you doing, John?
Good. How are you, Corey?
Great to have
be
you
here.
back.
Great to be here. Bona Fiesta, everyone, 2025, a beautiful Friday. We have a lot of great things happening. To piggyback off of what you were talking about, Corey, with it being a Christian event, that to me, being someone that participated in the parade, the St. Peter's parade, I walked the greasy pole and I did the same boat races. Especially as we get older in the years and more mature, I really appreciate the religious piece of it. And as a strong believer of Jesus Christ, it is a huge event for St. Peter. Jesus Christ said to his disciples, "Who do they say I am?" Then he looked directly into Peter's eyes, and he said to him, "Who do you say I am?" Matthew 6:15, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Jesus then said to Peter in Matthew 6:18, Jesus said, "And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." That shows you the importance that Peter has when he was here and where we know he is then. So I just love that religious piece of it, so people really know who Peter was and how important he is.
Right, and St. Peter was the first pope and also the patron saint of fishermen, like we said. And you'll hear throughout the weekend chants of Magisamu Tutte Mute, Viva San Pietro, which means basically, what are you deaf? Like, shout louder. Long live St. Peter. So that's how much that means to us. Great points there, John. Now, we should take a quick look, guys, if we can, at today's schedule of events. We have the women's senior same boat race final is happening around 4:45 p.m. or so. So we'll get to a little bit more of that in a bit. And then following the women's same boats finals, we have the Friday Greasy Pole. And today's winner for the Greasy Pole advances to Saturday. And then immediately following the Greasy Pole contest, we have the women's junior same boat finals. You see all the competing vessels there. We have, these are rowboat races of 3 teams each, basically. So the women's senior same boats final, followed by the Greasy Pole, followed by the women's junior finals. We say all this starts at 4:45 or so. This depends on when the crews are in place and get ready to start the event. How long the Greasy Pole lasts. Like, theoretically, John, it could last forever.
Right.
But now the walkers are so good now, we don't anticipate that. But that's what happens. And then once that Greasy Pole is done, the women's junior finals are going to happen. And that is Friday Fiesta for us. And it's great to point out, I think, that Friday is a day dedicated to the female rowers.
Absolutely. It's their 30th year, something extremely important for them. But in women's sports altogether, Corey, so it's important for them to have their day. There's been many questions about why aren't they on Sunday with the rest of the champs. They call it Championship Sunday. And the girls are like, no, we want our own day. We want Friday to be for us. And I like that. And I just love where women's sports are going for this. But also you look at the WNBA. It's women's sports are just growing across the country, especially in the United States, and I love it. I think it's great. I've been a softball coach for decades. I've coached varsity softball, and I've worked with from little to collegiate, and women's sports are definitely growing, and I absolutely love that. I'm a huge advocate of all sports, but especially women's sports, because I have a passion in my sport because of softball.
And you know what's been awesome just doing this the last few years with everybody here is how the women's game has blossomed. There are more junior women's crews than men's or boys' crews nowadays. In fact, they actually have the double number of elimination races leading up to today because of that participation. So those numbers are skyrocketing, which is awesome to see. And then on top of that, the races have been incredible.
Unbelievable. Last year across the board, and again this year, it's we have some great races coming up with the women's. To the men's, but today with the women's race, we're going to have a 3-boat close race, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Now let's take a quick look, guys, if we can, at the current weather conditions, and you'll be finding out throughout today's broadcast just how important the weather actually plays a part in this. Now the tide is actually going out right now. You'll notice that. So by the time we get underway, there'll be more beach to play with as the day unfolds. Now, if you remember last year, it was an astronomical high tide. There was hardly any beach. You couldn't really get a feel for how big the crowd was here. You'll see a lot more of that today. Also, with that tide going out, you see the current wind speed, 8 miles per hour coming from the south, and we're essentially facing south-southeast right now, looking out there off Pavilion Beach. But 8 miles per hour doesn't sound like much, but it does make a difference to these rowers, and it's a little bit choppy out there too. So you can see the tide's going out. Low tide's around 7:30 Eastern time tonight. So that's what the walkers and the rowers are dealing with today. The other thing, too, with the greasy pole walkers, because it's going to be tide going out, that'll be a bit of a longer drop for them into the water, but a shorter swim back to shore.
Right. So they'll get the shorter swim, longer drop, and also when you're climbing the pole, as it goes down to low tide, you get the barnacles on the ladder, which are never fun to grab because you have to pull yourself up, and depending on your weight, that doesn't tickle.
All right, so we mentioned this is the 30th year of women's rowing, and we have with us today the matriarch of women's rowing, Joanne Frontiero. She'll be joining us right after this quick break live from St. Peter's Fiestas, the Greasy Pole and Sailboat Races for 2025.
I'm Corey Kukru for 1623 Studios, and this is a story behind St. Peter's Fiesta. A Sicilian tradition was adopted in Gloucester in 1927 so the fishing community could pray for fair seas and huge catches before a statue to honor the patron saint of fishermen. It became a yearly procession which fishermen's wives organized into a multi-day celebration and feast. Religious events include a 9-day novena and a Catholic blessing of the fleet, followed by a parade where volunteers dressed in all white carry St.
Face
Peter
the
through
camera and do the intros and all that.
Fiesta concludes when the statue is returned to its home at the St. Peter's
intros,
Club to a hail of confetti and song. Today, thousands enjoy the June festival with its carnival, music and mass at the ornate altar, hardcore sailboat races, and Fiesta's most popular event, the Greasy Pole, where costume contestants chase a flag pinned to the end of a greased pole high above Gloucester Harbor. The winner is carried from Pavilion Beach to the altar amidst chants of "Chissà tutte mute." What are you, mute? Why aren't you screaming "Viva St.Peter"? Until next time, see you in the neighborhood.
Viva St. Peter! Viva St. Peter!
I'm Corey Kukru for 16.
All right, and welcome back to Pavilion Beach. We're getting ready for the women's senior sailboat race finals. Who better to talk to than the matriarch of women's sailboat racing here in Gloucester, Joanne Frontiero. It is a pleasure and an honor to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.
Yeah. Bona Fiesta.
Bona Fiesta.
Okay, so Joanne, they call you the matriarch. So for those folks out there who don't know, why are you the matriarch of women's sailboat racing?
Because I was one of the people that first started the women's race in 1995 in the St. Peter's Fiesta.
Mm-hmm. Now, why did you want that to happen?
My brother always rowed,
Yeah.
and I got into dory rowing because of him. And there was a lot of women that were rowing dories at the time, so we decided we would put a crew in and try to get it into the Fiesta. Mm-hmm. In the first year, they wouldn't let us. We got petitions and had them signed and stuff like that. And eventually they called a meeting and said we could do it, but we'd have to row against the men.
Right.
So our first race was against the men.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
they decided when we showed that we could do it, they decided that we could have our own division. Mm-hmm. And it's just grown since then.
Yeah, and we want to say, as a rower, right, and then coaching afterwards as well, right? You have literally have so many titles. Do you even know how many?
I have 6 with affirmative action.
Yeah.
That was 6 in a row. No other crew, men's, women's, or anything has that record.
Yeah.
And then 7 out of 9 with audacious.
Unbelievable.
13. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so, Joanne, can you sort of set the table for us today now? Do you know these crews at all? What sort of led into them reaching the finals today?
Okay, so I watched the eliminations, and the crew that'll be in the middle, I think, Saltior.
So, yeah.
Yep.
When I first saw them, they were having some technique problems and stuff, but they were rowing against Age and Treachery, and
A seasoned team, right?
a seasoned team, and they were rowing against Backlash, and
Another team.
ended up beating both of them. So what they lack in at the time, I'm sure they've tried to fix it this week, what they lacked in staying together, they must have had in power because they beat both those crews.
Yeah, and that's quite an accomplishment.
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and so now what do you know about the defending champs, Power?
Sort of the same thing last year. They came out of nowhere and ended up winning, and they won a great race. And as far as Age and Treachery, they were in the finals last year, and I'm partial to them. I have to say that. Whoever wins, I'm happy for, but they've put in their dues. They've been rowing for a long time. They were called Hardcore before they changed their name.
That's right.
And added a few different people. And 4 or 5 of the girls on that crew were girls that I rowed with before. And they that crew has never won a Friday race. And I would love, everybody should at least win once, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to see them win a Friday race.
Very nice. So, Joanne, just to give people an idea of what goes into training for an event like this, a lot of people, some of these participants aren't year-round athletes, and Fiesta sort of sneaks up quick on folks. So what have all these women been doing for the past month or two?
You'd be surprised. Some of them train year-round.
Okay.
I know Age and Treachery, they're out in the gigs all winter. And Power, they train. I think they're a yoga team.
Yeah, power yoga.
They're on those rowing machines nonstop.
Yeah,
like nonstop.
Yeah. And the other crew also, they're also training all the time. So it used to be you jumped in a boat, but not anymore. They train as hard as the men do.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what is happening at this moment? Where are the rowers now? How are they preparing for today's event?
I saw 2 boats come out so far.
Yeah.
I don't know if the third one is out here or not, but back at the dock, they pick oars, they tie in, and they try their equipment, they get their footboards ready and everything, and then they come around the corner, and they'll row for a little bit to test equipment to make sure nothing breaks.
And who is on the boat? Like, it's a crew of how many?
10 women rowers, and a coxswain, who's the coach, and a scuttler who steers the boat.
As you're talking about scuttler, Joanne, tell us the importance. The scuttler is steering the boat a half a mile out, and then they have to turn. So we have scuttlers for Power Oar, who's Paul Favazza. That's the defending champs.
Yes.
The scuttler for Salty Oar is Rick Miles, and the scuttler for Agent Treachery is Jimmy T, who's been doing it a long time as a rower, now a scuttler. He was on Survivor. Just a little props for him there. Jimmy's just a legend.
Yes.
Tell us the importance of the scuttler from your point of view.
Okay, actually, Jimmy scuttled for some of my crews.
Did he?
But it's very important. You have to judge the wind. Like, I will look at the flags that are out there and see which way they're flying. And if they're flying this way, you usually line up a little higher on the flag going out because you know the wind is going to take you over. It's coming out of the turn is huge.
So 5 oars come out of the water, then you have the turning side.
The turning side keeps rowing.
Right. How many strokes typically on that side?
Usually can be anywhere from 8 to 12, depending on the crew, depending on the weather. I think probably the turn is one of the most important parts of the race. That and the start also.
It can make it or break it.
The 2 most nerve-wracking parts of the race.
Right. What's it like sitting there just waiting for that start, for the coach to put those hands up?
It's horrible. It's horrible. You want to throw up, to be honest. You sit there and you're waiting, and if it's bad weather, you're jockeying for position. And then a lot of times you'll hear people on the beach yell, start the race, because they want you to hurry up.
Yeah.
But I'll look over and I'll see the coxswain on the other crew. She might be like 2 seats ahead of me. And they're telling me they're yelling, start the race. And, of course, nobody's going to start unless you're even.
Yeah, right, we can get more to that as we see that posturing happen before we start. So just to give folks a 101 on how the same boat races work, we'll have 3 boats lined up in front of us here at the beach, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, not necessarily in that order. And what happens is once they get lined up, they head straight out to red, white, and blue flags about a half mile offshore. They make the turn, and they head their way back to Pavilion Beach, and the first boat to reach the beach wins. Winning team gets an American flag. Second place team hoists an Italian flag, right? So amazing stuff. And it's cool to point out, too, that the same boat races were the signature event of Fiesta in the early years. It was the most popular. All the fishing crews stayed in during the holiday. They began competing with one another, and neighborhoods would sort of get their own gangs of guys out there competing as well. And now to see 30 years of women participating has made this event exponentially better. So we can't wait to share these sights and sound with you all today. So, all right. So now you see the shot here. We're just going over the rules for you really quickly. You'll see in a minute. We'll go over the crews with everybody and what boats they're in and what lanes they've been assigned to. While we do have a moment here, too, we want to say that there's a pretty important race tomorrow morning as well. The first responders race, which has become a nice tradition here, too. That is amongst the Gloucester Police Department, the Gloucester Fire Department, and the local Coast Guard here, too. Do you know anything about that, Joanne, that you can share with us?
I just know that they get the policemen and the firemen against each other, and then they have bragging rights for a year, just like the other rowers do.
Yeah, they do that. It's not just Fiesta where those guys are doing that with one another, too.
Yes.
So, and then our own Phil Francis will actually be participating for the police team tomorrow. But okay, so now here are your defending champs, Pau Or.
Okay, they have the red flag, and they'll be rowing in the Pinta. And the members of that crew are Scuttler, Paul Favaza,
You'll see a person in front of the scuttle, which is the
So we're
coach,
off.
also known as a coxswain, and
Guys,
then you have 10 rowers.
We're offline. All right, we're back.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
so Joanne, just again, why don't we go over
Wanna do Agent?
Salty Ore, and
Yep.
then we'll get to Age and Treachery, the other two crews today.
Okay, again on Salty Ore, Scuttler, Rick Miles, Coxon, Suzanne Clerkin. Rowers, Addie Fenton, Janelle Parker, Jen Giovannucci, Laurie Sullivan, Brianna Lysiak, Jordy Fenton, Brandy Dion, Kerry Fadden, Kate LaFavor, and Diane Parisi.
So that's Salty Ore. They'll be in the middle in the Santa Maria going for the white flag.
Yeah. And then we have
Age and Treachery,
Age and Treachery.
Scuttler, Jimmy T, Coxon, Leanne Pelazzola, Rowers, Cindy Perry, Stephanie Pelazzola, Kelly Crawford, Rachel Alexander, Nikki Parisi, Stephanie Ragusa, Gina Regulio, Leah Hunter, Sarah Bowen, and Donna First.
And we got to point out that, Joanne, you're actually stepping in for
Friday's race, she nominated me.
it cracks me up that they call themselves Age and Treachery. I love that.
What a rower she was, though, Nikki.
Nikki's a great rower.
Yeah. Where is
Great
she?
rower,
She's
good
in the
friend.
bow.
No, I think Nikki's in the second seat.
Okay.
Second seat, turning side.
Here we go, Joanne. We have Power Ore to the left in the Pinta, going for the red flag. In the middle, we have Salty Ore going for the white flag. That'll be the Santa Maria in the middle. And then to the right, we have Age and Treachery going for the blue flag in the Nina. So from left to right,
Yes.
Power Ore, Salty Ore, Age and Treachery.
Yeah, and these sailboats are about 30 feet long, would you say, Joanne?
I would say that.
And about 3,000 pounds or so. And the oars
The
are
oars
light
are
either.
heavy, too.
Yeah.
They're like 40 pounds, right? They're
Yes.
like 40
Yeah.
pounds each oar.
And
No kidding.
there was an 8th grade junior crew, which we can talk about later. They're mostly 8th grade girls that pull those same oars and row that same distance.
Fantastic.
That's unbelievable.
And we should note out, too, that we pronounce it Seine boat. We know it's like spelled like the River Seine in France. We say Seine.
Right.
We're not apologizing.
That's a fun fact. We say a lot of things.
We say
different.
Fiesta,
like
we say Seine.
lobster, lobster. It's all is
Yeah.
what it is.
All right, so you see the 3 crews out here right off Pavilion Beach preparing for today's race. You'll also hear a loudspeaker in the background. That is Jonathan Goodhue and Tommy Favazza. Tommy Favazza is the grandson, actually, of Salvatore Favazza, who helped bring the tradition from Favarotta Terracini here to Gloucester back in 1926 is when he commissioned the statue. In 1927 is when the event actually began. So you'll hear you'll see a bigger crowd form in front of us, too, as the day unfolds. But like I said, it's been awesome to notice just the popularity in this event rising to a level that it should be at, I believe, with all the work that all these folks put into this. And you see how much it means to them, too.
So 10 oars here. We have 10 rowers. Acton is 1. 10 oars. The best stroke that they can have, Joanne, is 10 oars going out of the into the water, out of the water.
Same time. That's
in
right.
sync, perfect
In
harmony.
sync. Yep.
If one oar goes into the water before another, it almost acts as like a brake a little bit, right? Slows you down just
It
a
does,
tad.
but it also can cause crabbing of somebody next
Yeah.
to you, too, because if you're out of sync and they hit your oar, then you could have some problems.
Right. For anyone that's ever rowed a canoe or even in a pool, just trying to row like whatever it might be, if you don't have those oars in the water, you'll start doing circles and all kinds of crazy stuff.
And let's not discount the obvious. They're rowing in the ocean, right? So
ridiculous.
you're dealing with a tide, a current, the wind, and also there's a flotilla that they're surrounded by, too. We got to keep boats out of their lanes, the harbor master, the Coast Guard, the police boats out there to make sure that's happening, too. And, of course, everything is super safe. And like we said, you can see those flags a half a mile off of the beach there, too, where these boats will be lining up to the right of the greasy pole, lining up, posturing, trying to line up each boat evenly. When you see that, you'll see arms go up in either boat to show that their crew is ready. But we don't leave until all 3 crews are ready to actually go. So there may be some false starts. It's part of the gamesmanship, but it's also part of just dealing with the water.
Yeah. So again, you can see, well, actually right now you can't see it, but you'll see in the same boats one of the crew members standing, and that's the scuttler. And here we go with the national anthem. Corey, I can feel Joanne's adrenaline. I can feel it. I feel like she wants to jump out there. I can feel the adrenaline. It's coming right over to me. I love it.
I still get nervous watching.
I can feel it. You're gripping the fence.
All right, for those who just tuning in, I am Corey Kukru today alongside John Nicastro and the matriarch of women's sailboat racing here in Gloucester, Joanne Frontiero. We are about ready to start the women's senior sailboat race final. This is the final now today. And we've got defending champs Power going up against Salty Ore and Age and Treachery. Beautiful drone footage there, folks.
And here they are lining up again from left to right. We have the defendant champs Power Ore. In the middle, we have Salty Ore. And in the right, to the right, we have Age and Treachery. They're about to get started. 3 boats lined up, and Joanne, walk us through it right now, Joanne. In the back of the boat, you have the bow people that are going to start taking little strokes.
Right. They'll start to keep the momentum of the boat going forward. So when they line up, if they have to back up, they'll back up further than what they have to so that they can move forward and have the momentum of the boat moving forward.
So we have Age and Treachery to the left on your screen,
No.
Salty Ore in the middle.
On the screen, though, because
and
we
then
have
to the
drone
right,
footage,
Power
they're
Ore.
overhead, so it's in the
Okay.
opposite. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's opposite for us.
Yeah, we get mixed up, folks. Yeah, what you're looking at is not what we're looking at, but we love the drone footage here for these races.
Salty Ore. Okay, here they are. They're lined up. Joanne, walk us through. In the bow, they're taking their little strokes called feathering. Walk us through
They're
it.
feathering, and right now the coaches are looking at each other to see if the boats are lined up evenly. The scuttlers are checking their flags, making sure that they're on their flags.
Hands went up one side. When the hands go up, that means they're ready to go. One of the
crew.
boats, we need all 3 hands to go up.
Three.
Yeah, they need to clear the lanes out
Yeah.
there. There's still some watercraft out there in the lanes.
So this happens every so often. When a boat goes through, it causes wake, Joanne, right? And
It's not
it's
very
not
favorable.
good.
No,
Nope.
we don't like it.
We saw a junior crew last year almost flipped the boat over.
Remember 2 years ago when the schooner went through, for crying out loud? The schooner.
I remember.
You would think they'd know better.
Honest to God, right?
I remember a scuttle a few years ago. Remember, he almost fell off the boat. The scuttle, we
And
won't
they
say.
started.
There they go. They're off already.
Oh.
Wow, they caught us sleeping. There they go. We had 3 boats going. It looks like to the right.
Hot start
to the
for Age
right.
and Treachery.
It
Age
looks like
and
to the right.
Treachery. Looks
Age
like
and
they're
Treachery,
ahead.
which would be on the screen to the left.
And those are the defending champs Power on the right side there in the green shirts, and they are in the red lane chasing the red flag.
Yep, to the left, we have Age and Treachery came out of the chute. They came out quick, Joanne.
Yes, they did.
Taking short, quick strokes to try to get a little start.
Yep.
It looks like Age and Treachery to the left has a lead
Age
over
and
Power
Treachery
Ore.
is the ones in the black shirts. Salty Ore in the red shirts in the middle.
Yep. So Age and Treachery to the left with a lead.
Joanne, how important is it to have a hot start like what Age and Treachery just did?
It's very important, psychologically and, as far as the race is concerned.
But here comes Power.
And Joanne, quickly, that race started quick. It caught us off guard sleeping. And in a rookie crew, Salty Ore, they got caught sleeping. They didn't. The other 2 crews took 2 or 3 strokes before their oars went in the water.
Yes.
So it's a rookie mistake in the middle. We'll see if they can catch up from it. But Jimmy T with Age and Treachery to the left with Leanne Pelzola as the coach got an incredible stop. But the champs
look like
the
they're
champs to
moving up,
the
too.
right, Power Ore.
Yep.
Look like they made a move, no doubt about that.
Yes. So on the way out, if you're a little bit behind, you'll hear the coach say, give me 10, give me 5, or whatever, trying to make a push on the crew that's ahead of them. If you see the boat coming and making a push and you are in the lead, you might ask your girls to give you 10 strokes too, so that they can't catch you, so that you stay ahead.
Like you were talking about earlier, Joanne, it looks like Salty Ore just is powering through. Wow. So it looks
Dead
like
heat.
Yeah, wow. Salty Ore just made a major move. It looks like a dead heat, all 3 boats. Looks like Salty Ore is making a move. I hope they don't run out of gas, Joanne.
They didn't the other day.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a close race.
This
is
These are
impressive.
3 good crews, 3 evenly matched crews. So I
You
think
called
it's going to
that.
be a good race.
You called that at all 3. It's coming down. And Salty Ore has a lead.
Yeah, Joanne, it looks like Power is almost shifting a little bit to their left right now.
Maybe making a adjustment
Yeah.
on the flag.
Like you were saying, you want to stay high with the wind we're
The
having,
wind will
staying
blow
high.
you over, right?
This is a strong stretch here for Salty Ore here in the middle lane.
Wow, if Salty Ore keeps this stroke, they're gonna win by a couple boats. They're either gonna win by a couple boats or they're gonna lose by 10 because they're gonna run out of gas.
Well,
but
now
what a stroke!
that we are preparing soon for the critical turn around the flags.
Wow, Salty Ore.
And this requires a lot of precision and a little bit of luck.
Salty Ore with in the middle with just, it looks like they're up by about a boat.
Salty Ore's crushing it right now.
Wow.
They must be a strong crew. They
Wow.
really must be a strong
This is
crew.
impressive.
So we have Agent Treachery to the
They were last out
left.
of the start, and now they have a lead.
Agent Treachery to the left looks like they're down by about a boat and a quarter. In the middle, Salty Ore leading the way. And to the right, the Champs, Power Ore, looks like they're down by about a boat or so. And we have a close race, no doubt. It's going to come down to that turn if the other two crews can catch up.
Yep.
Salty Ore either has a lot of power or their stroke might be a little too fast and they could run out of gas. We're going to find out soon. Wow.
All right, Joanne, what's going through your mind now as the crews prepare for the turn?
Okay, so the coxswain will yell and say, give me 10 or 20, because you're coming up on the flag. The more momentum and speed you have, the easier the turn will be.
Mm-hmm.
So the scuttler is looking for the flag and making his angle towards it.
Gotcha.
Wow. Salty
You'll-
Ore's up by at least 3 boats.
Wow.
I mean, they are completely annihilating the other two crews.
Wow.
This will be a huge upset.
Now, there's a long way to go.
They're a first-year crew.
First-year crew, which
Yeah,
goes
this is-
against all odds. In their stroke, it's usually 10 oars going in the water at one time, which isn't the case for them. So as their stroke gets better and better, if this keeps going, they're going against odds. And when their stroke does get more harmonized, they might never lose.
I know.
Wow. They're up by 4 boats at least.
Joanne, let's turn the clock back 30 years. Maybe they should go up against some of the men here. Look at this.
Wow. They didn't even start until they gave the other crews a 3-stroke start.
Yes, they did.
Wow. So we have
This is an upset. I mean, you have these two crews have been rowing for a while. Salty Ore, as far as my knowledge, they just came in this year.
Do you know anything about Rick Miles, their
I
scuttler?
do. Rick Miles is a
All right.
dory rower.
We're at the flags.
There they go.
So you see
Wow.
blue,
All right, he's
white, and red
angling.
flags there.
There goes Salty Ore in the middle,
right
the
on
white
flag.
flag.
Right on it.
And you can't miss.
Now, the only bad thing that I can tell you about, they were supposed to make the flags further distance apart, which they have not done. And you have to be careful you don't hit the boat that's behind coming into the
Yep.
other flag.
That's a close call right there.
Yes.
Oh, there's Power
Wow,
hitting the
Salty
flag
Ore
there.
just came right out of the turn. It was a beautiful turn by Rick Miles.
Yep.
Wide
What a
berth here for
turn.
Agent Treachery.
Wow. So Power
They look
Ore.
like they overshot
Power
the
Ore.
flag.
Yeah, yep, I agree with you on that one. Power Ore is going to turn 2 flags.
Oh, my God,
So,
they are.
wow, they're going to turn 2
Okay, so
2
there's
flags,
an error.
and Salty Ore's on the way home.
I would
Agent
say they're
Treachery
out-
to the
they're
left.
Probably out of it now.
Yeah, Power Ore had a rough turn. They've turned, yep, and Salty Ore, a first-time crew, has probably a 6 or 7 boat lead.
Wow.
What
Was
a
not expecting
turn!
this today.
So we were talking about Rick Miles' scuttle. What do you know?
I know that he
this,
wrote stories.
Is this first time scuttling too?
I don't ever remember him scuttling.
Because he crushed the turn.
before. Yes, he did.
He absolutely crushed the turn.
Yeah, it is Salty Ore in a runaway right now. They got a ways to go on their way back to Pavilion Beach, but
And their
they've got
stroke's
nothing
actually
but blue
getting
in front
better.
of them.
His stroke's actually getting better. It's not perfect, Joanne, but it's getting better.
I'm sure he worked on that.
I'm going to have to
Wow.
reconsider my gym membership after watching this.
Holy moly. I got to do more burpees. Next intermission, I'm doing some. That is insane.
Okay, you can't even see the other two boats right now. In the
Wow.
screen.
Wow.
Well, so can I ask you, Joanne, while we have a moment here, too, it's like how much it means to you to see the event become what it's become today?
I'm so proud of the women's division. They actually had 9 crews this year,
Yeah,
more than the men.
Wow.
And I believe the junior girls had more than the junior boys.
they did.
And it's so much more competitive now. And when affirmative action, I have to be honest, when we first started, the crews we rode against, they weren't as good a crew as today's crew.
Yep, just not as strong. Yeah,
Yes.
just not as. Yep.
Well, this
And that's
gives
one
this.
of the reasons we broke up the affirmative action after winning 6 titles. We just were winning by so much, we felt like it's not fun for people to come and watch. We want it to be more competitive so that it would last and go on for more years. So we broke the crew up, and then I lost the next couple
That
of
was
years.
like, let's bring back the band.
That's how it usually happens. Right? But a lot of props goes to you, Joanne, because it takes a lot of courage to stand up and do stuff like that. So a lot of props goes to you for this. And giving crews like Salty or the courage to come in as first-time rowers in the women's, because it's easier to start in the juniors, right, and kind of get used to it. To come into the women's is a whole different ballgame. Salty or in the middle, a landslide.
Yep, you're looking
Salty
live.
or.
Right now,
Awful.
they're looking back, and they're not going to slow down. They're going to try and keep good pace coming home. But they know they don't have to kill themselves coming home
Yeah.
No.
because they have enough in the lead.
But I have a feeling they are in that crew.
Oh, they're
They're
going to
not
want to
stopping.
make a show.
They're gonna. They
Of
could
course.
row right through the sand.
When you get to that greasy pole, it's all about showing them what you have left.
Greasy pole shuffle, Joanne. What did it
Yes.
feel like when you hit that greasy pole and you can hear the
that's-
murmurs?
It's the best feeling, especially if you're winning.
Yeah, yeah. But you give props to all three. It's not easy. You can't practice in these boats up until the week before, so it's not like you can practice in these big 3,000, 30-foot long seine boats all year. You get in and you race, and it's not like other sports where you can practice all year long.
Right. Now,
Well-
they had a few practices, and then they had to do 2 elimination races 2 days in a row.
Right.
That's not easy.
And let's
Right.
not discount all the women out there who tried and didn't get through the elimination rounds.
That's
Just to
right.
put the fact that they participated in
Yep.
numbers like that and completed the races, that's phenomenal.
First time Backlash and Rogue weren't in the finals, both of them, and they're both good crews that have many wins also.
Wow. Salty or in the middle, first-year crew. Looks like they're going to take down the 2025 Women's Championship by about 10 boats or more.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Good
To
for
the-
them. Good for them.
So
We
they're
do
coming-
have Agent Treachery to the left. They making a little move, but they're still down by too much. It looks like
Agent
Treachery might be down by like maybe 4.
Yeah, and they got to battle
know.
that flotilla now, too,
Yeah.
that they're going right into.
Yeah. There's not enough room for them to catch them now.
Jimmy T actually had a good turn. It's just Salty Orr just put together a perfect race, except
had a great
the
turn.
start.
He had a- yes,
That was the
yes.
only hiccup they had.
He had a great turn, though.
Unbelievable turn, and here they come, Salty Orr. They're about to hit the greasy pole and do the greasy pole shuffle.
You can see that's a flotilla right behind the greasy pole there. Those boats there on the right-hand side. Salty in plain view of everyone here at the beach now, and it is a runaway.
Wow. Salty Orr, first-year crew. They're going to be your 2025 champs.
Joanne, the feeling now, if you must have been in races where it was sort of a done deal, making your way in towards the beach. Just the feeling of exhilaration.
It's the best feeling. You know that you're going to win, and you don't have to really it's not like a tug of war all the way in. Those close races take a lot out of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the best feeling right there.
And
Here they come. Salty Orr in the Santa Maria, your 2025 champs. They're up about a boat or 2 to boats. They're letting it cruise in. Here they are, your 2025 champions. Salty Orr. I'm going to let Joanne read it to you. Your 2025 champs.
And the winner, Salty Orr, Scuttler, Rick Miles, Coxon, Suzanne Clairkin, Addie Fenton, Janelle Parker, Jen Giovannucci, Laurie Sullivan, Brianne Lysiak, Jordy Fenton, Brandy Dion, Kerry Fadden, Kate Lefebvre, and Diane Parisi. Congratulations, ladies.
And you see
Congratulations. And Jimmy T coming in with Agent Treachery. You always got to give props to all the crews.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Salty Orr right there with the American flag, your 2025 champs. Salty Orr.
That's a cool picture down there.
Wow.
Beautiful. Great work, ladies.
Awesome.
Really
Wow.
impressive.
Wow. What a first-year crew.
Yeah. I will not be challenging anyone to arm wrestling
No,
later on. at the club.
nothing that has to do with physical activity.
No.
None. And here, Power Orr, your 2024 champs. It's not easy to come in and relinquish the championship, but you got to give them props for being out
Absolutely.
there. Just beautiful being out there. So Thank you to Power Ore. Thank you to Agent Treachery. And congratulations to Salty Ore, your 2025 Senior Women's Division Champion. And now we're getting ready for what everyone's been waiting for, Corey.
The greasy pole.
The greasy
Soon.
pole.
Yeah, we're going to let those folks celebrate. I believe Agent Treachery will be holding the Italian flag soon. But yeah, you see Salty Ore.
Congratulations to all 3 crews.
Yep, 30 years,
We
girls.
have a saying in rowing, the only losers are those who do not participate. So
I like that.
everybody's a winner here.
I like that.
Yep.
Wow, Salty Ore, what a race. First-year crew.
Unbelievable.
All right, so let's wrap things up from here from now. Joanne, thank you so much for being
Thank
here with
you,
us.
Corey.
Now, we're not done with you yet because you're going to be coming back for the women's junior same boat finals after the greasy pole, which is about an hour or so from now. But that was awesome. Your final thoughts on that race?
I thought it was a great race. Salty Ore was a good surprise. I mean, people might have counted them out being a first-year crew, but they showed they have the stuff. And if they keep this up, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, what a great way to tip your cap to 30 years of women's sailboat racing
Yes.
here in Gloucester.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, we'll be back with Derek Hopkins and John right after this.
Thank you.
The following special presentation of the 2025 St. Peter's Fiesta, live from Gloucester, Massachusetts, is brought to you by St. Peter's Fiesta Incorporated, Bridge Cape Ann, Streamography Productions, 1623 Studios, and live now from Fox. Welcome to Pavilion Beach in Gloucester, Massachusetts, for live coverage of St. Peter's Fiesta, a nearly 100-year-old religious tradition brought here from Sicily, where faith meets fierce competition on the water. For 3 days, we're bringing you wall-to-wall coverage of 2 of Fiesta's most iconic events, the Sailboat Races, born right here as friendly rivalries between Italian fishing crews, racing the very boats they use to feed their families and our community. And the Greasy Pole Contest, a tradition dating back to 15th century Europe, once seen as a measure of manhood, now the most popular attraction on Cape Ann. This year, history and bragging rights are on the line. We'll have a bird's eye view of the elimination and final races in the women's, juniors, and men's divisions. And we all want to know, will Derek Hopkins win his 7th straight greasy pole flag? Whether you're here in Gloucester or watching from an ocean away, Viva St.Peter! This is St. Peter's Fiesta. The following special presentation.
All right, folks, welcome back to Pavilion Beach and St. Peter's Fiesta. We are getting ready for the Friday Greasy Pole Contest. Joining us now, 6-time Greasy Pole champ Derek Hopkins. How you doing, brother? Good to have you here.
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we love it, man. So I guess right off the bat, dude, we're happy to have you with us. We're getting ready for the first walker to come in here. What are your thoughts on this event coming into this weekend?
Well, it's just an unbelievable event. I mean, there's nothing like it in the country, in the world. There's some poles other places, but I think we do it the best. So it's unbelievable.
Now, we know what's happened. Like, the big story this weekend, of course, is you're going for your 7th straight flag, right? 5th straight on a Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we're holding we bated breath until Sunday for you then. But do you have jitters at all, or are you just like, let's just have some fun?
A little bit, but mostly it's just I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to worry about winning because one of these days, and it very well could be this year, but it's not going to happen. So I want to make sure that, we have a good day.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Derek Hopkins here with us, D-Hop. He won it in 2019, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 2022, 2023, and 2024. First up is Frankie Friday Nail. What do you think, D-Hop, about Frankie Friday Nail?
Well, he's got 19 years walked. He's not there for a while.
So we got to say, so is this the order that they usually work in, D-Hop, on Fridays, like by seniority?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it looks like it, too. It goes by, how many years have you walked, and that's how the list will come from there.
Yeah.
Frankie Friday Nail.
A lot of good walkers on Friday, though.
So, D-Hop, who do you like? Who are your picks today? Who are the favorites?
So, I'm thinking Cam DeCoste, Nick Taramina, or Jojo Kleiss. In no specific order, but I think that's what we're looking at.
Those were the exact 3 today when I texted you. Those are the same exact 3 that I was thinking too. Because Nicky T, I saw him the other day, and we all know how great of a guy Nicky Taramina is.
Yeah.
Every year he touches the flag. It's like this is the year, Nicky, to take it down.
Now he was the one 2 years ago, correct? That I'm pretty sure he's the one who grabbed the flag, but he didn't come down with it.
Right.
It was the year of the big nails, if you would.
Yep. That was Nicky T was one of those guys. He was the Friday guy. But we're waiting on the first walker. 2025 Greasy Pole, Frankie Friday Nail, because he's been on Friday for 19 years. First round is a courtesy round. You can see everyone dressed up in all different kinds of costumes. You can't win it in the first round.
So we've got 43 walkers out there on a 12-by-12 platform, about 200 yards off Pavilion Beach. It's a little shorter than that today because the tide's going out, as you can see. That means a longer drop off the pole, Derek, but a shorter swim back to shore.
Yep. I don't mind the drop myself, so I prefer the shorter swim, but there's definitely some guys that might not like the drop. And they call those guys high tide heroes. They like when it's high tide. Because the swim can be very long. Doesn't look like it from the camera, but when you have to do it, it's a long swim in at high tide.
First round is a courtesy round. We have 43 walkers. Everyone gets 1 round. You're not allowed to take the flag in the first round. You have to give everyone 1 chance, and then in the second round, it's live to go.
And, of course, today's winner advances to Saturday. Saturday's winner advances to Sunday. And so today's winner will be the first walker tomorrow. Saturday's winner will be the first walker on Sunday, and then D-Hop goes to defend his title, looking for 5 straight Sundays and 7 straight flag overall.
Frankie Friday Nail, there he goes, Frankie.
A big drop already.
Right on the butt. First one, not a bad walk with all the grease.
He nearly did the backflip. Mike Forgetti couldn't walk this year. The first time in, I think, 16 years, he's been the first walker on Friday. He always goes out and he backflips off the pole. And Frankie Neal nearly resembled that there.
The second walk is going to be Brendan Chipperini, 18 years out there. Brendan's also a police officer in Gloucester. There goes Brendan. It looks like he's in a pirate outfit. Oh there he goes. So, D-Hop, tell us about what's going on with the grease out there right now. A lot of grease out there. We got some apples, bananas. What else is out there, D-Hop?
A lot of grease. They mix up the grease with bananas, coconut oil, banana, or I think I already said bananas, but yeah, they mix it all up with the coconut oil right into the bucket, and then they lather it on, and they usually do the first layer. They pull a line with their fingers, and they fill up a little bit of oil under the grease.
There goes Joe D'Amico, number 3, 18 years. So D-Hop's telling you what it takes to get right through it all.
Yeah. And then after that, one more layer of grease. So when you step through, you step into that layer of oil.
Yep.
So there's a lot up there that doesn't look like it's there, but it is there.
Number 4, Joe Sanfilippo, 17 years, walking in memory of his grandfather, Gussie, Elba, and Don Peavy. Joey Sanfilippo, a good walker. There goes Joe Sanfilippo. Oof.
One of the many Joe Sanfilippos who have competed over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Our 5th walker is Anthony Pelazzola, 17 years. Anthony Pelazzola.
Yeah, folks, you're going to see a lot of Palazzolas throughout the weekend, and with different spellings. That's normal around here.
We have a lot. It's unbelievable because if we have like a name, like certain names like the Smiths and those kinds, we have trouble saying it. But if you give us an Italian name, we know how to say it. But there goes Anthony Pelazzola. Next up is Mike Jacobs, the 6th water, 16 years. Mike Jacobs. Any info on Mike Jacobs, D-Hop?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Derek, how many new guys get to jump in on this every year? I know there's a wait list.
There's a pretty big wait list. So from what I've learned from listening to the radio the past few weeks, I think on Friday today, 80 guys signed up. They can only take about 45.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I believe we have 46 tomorrow and Sunday, last I checked.
Yeah, it's a good amount, and it's a lot of people want to sign up, and there's just only so many spots. So,
Leo
That was Leo DiMercurio, 15 years, walking in memory of his father-in-law, Anthony Militello. Number 9, Al Millefogli, 15 years, walking in memory of his uncle Peter Russo.
So it is actually number 8, John, because we had 2 scratches from earlier today. So the numbers are slightly off, but they're correct on screen.
So we have number 8, Al Millefogli, walking in memory of his uncle Peter Azzaro. Next up.
And by the way, an A-plus guy, too.
Absolutely.
A lot of these guys are just a great, great guys.
Number 9 on the list is Cody Zappa, 14 years walking for his children, Mason and Matthew. We got Cody Zappa. He's had some good walks through the years.
Oh, absolutely.
He's come close many times. First round's our courtesy round. We're here with D-Hop, 6-time champion. 6 in a row. He's going for the tie. There he goes. Cody Zappa.
Oh.
Next up is Gabe Castiello, 14 years walking in memory of his mother, Carol and Devin Wolf.
We've got 43 walkers in this round, folks. Like John said, it's a courtesy round. You cannot grab the flag this round. After that, it's first walker to grab the flag wins. D-Hop, when you're sitting there on the platform right now, what are you hoping happens to this grease in this courtesy round?
I mean, you want to see some of it coming off.
Yeah.
But naturally it will happen. You got 45 guys walking. Each guy tends to get, a step or two further, and when they fall down, they take a little bit with them.
So we have Jonathan Moody.
Yeah, you're always looking for the guy in front of you to, make it a little bit further.
Yeah. Jonathan Moody's had some good walks through the years, too. Jonathan Moody. Next up is one of the favorites that we have here, Cam DeCoste. Has touched the flag many times as well. Has come within an arm's length many times.
He's due. He's one of the guys that's due. They're all due. Everyone deserves a flag, but only one's going to come down with it.
Whoever wins today advances to Saturday. Will be the first walker tomorrow. There goes Jonathan Moody. Next up is Cam DeCoste, 12 years, walking in memory of his father, Dean DeCoste. Cameron DeCoste.
Cam DeCoste, Hilltop Street Hockey.
Absolutely.
One of the boys.
He played ice hockey with my late son. So, special spot in the heart for Cam.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Good walk right
nice
away,
slide.
Cam. That's what he does. He comes out fast. Andreas Saputo, he's 13th on the list, his 12th year.
And this is Corey Kukru alongside John Nicastro and 6-time Greasy Pole champ Derek Hopkins. You're watching Fiesta Friday, the courtesy round.
Who's going to advance to Saturday? And there goes Andreas Saputo. Fast out of the gate. Next up, Nick Browning, 12th year. Nick Browning.
Nick Browning, family friend of my brother. He was around the house growing up when I was just a little kid.
Nick Browning, trying to get to Saturday. This is the courtesy round. "40-foot flag."
Oh, yeah.
40-foot pole. Flag at the end.
It already looks like it's leaning out there.
Right.
I don't know if it's the nails or the wind.
What is it with the little wind out there? Does that affect the walkers, D-Hop?
Oh, yeah, you feel it. You feel it when you come out of the water. If it's not too hot out, and even if it is, you feel the wind. It cools you down.
There goes Nick Browning, Dom Nicastro. Cousin, but we're all cousins.
I know.
Dom Nicastro, 12 years, 15th on the list. Dom Nicastro. We're about a third of the way through the courtesy round. 43 walkers. 40-foot pole. The flag at the end. Who's going to grab it to get to Saturday?
There can only be one.
D-Hop waiting on Sunday. 6 years in a row. If he gets it this year, 7-time champ and ties Peter Black's record of 7 in a row. The next walker is Peter Azzaro. Happy 4th birthday.
No, this
to
is
his
Charlie
daughter, Peter.
Palmisano now.
Oh, we missed one?
Yeah, Pete just walked for his
Charlie Palmisano, number 11. Oh, there he goes on his back. Christian Palmisano. Christian Palmisano, 11 years, 17th walker. His dad's a champ, right? Joe Parmigiano.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Fort Legend, Joe. Great guy.
Tyler Ingersoll.
Walking for his daughter, Oakley.
10 years on the pole. Tyler Ingersoll.
What do we say, Angie?
Congratulations to Salty. There goes Tyler.
Oh, good walk on a tie.
Next up is Brett Souza. Brett Souza next
Brett
up.
Souza, Hilltop, coach, captain, brother, husband, friend. What a guy.
Oh, good
all
walk.
right.
Wow, good walk, good
Brett.
flip.
That's what we like to see.
Best one of the day so far.
I liked it.
Josh Gove, 10 years on the pole. Josh Gove.
And I think the water temp today is right around 62 degrees.
Yep.
Not bad. There
higher
goes
than I
Josh
thought it would
Gove.
be.
Little less than halfway for Josh. Yep, one of the favorites today. D-Hop, Nicky T, Nick Taramina. Walking in memory of his sister, Jess Taramina.
Pretty sure he was the one. He went to the end and he grabbed it.
There he goes, Nicky T, Nicky T, Nicky T,
Oh,
Nicky
yeah,
T.
there it is.
That's why he's one of the favorites, people.
Oh, yeah. That's a great walk.
Nicky T.
Really impressive.
Next up, Michael Russo, walking in memory of his uncle Peter Russo. 9 years on the pole. Mike Russo, there he goes, Mike Russo,
That's a
just
good
about
walk
halfway.
Right there.
Did the flip.
Yeah, the back flip.
Next up, we have Joel Falzerano, 7 years. He's 23rd on the list. We're over halfway, Joe Falzerano. Oh, starting to get to about the halfway point.
Yeah, now keep in mind, last year Max Allen won on Friday. In the second round, he was the 40th walker.
Yeah, went almost all the way around.
Yeah.
Sal Taramina walking in memory of his grandfather, Anthony. I'm way off here. Sal walking in of his mom, Josephine Taramina. Next up, Nick Kukuru, 7 years.
Not that I'm rooting for anyone, guys, but you know, if Kukuru happens to squeak through, and he's doing this in memory of Bruin.
Here we go, Nick Kukuru.
All right, come on, cuz.
Nick Kukuru. 40-foot pole.
Everyone's got a different ritual. Some guys like to go quick. Some guys take the time. It's whatever's comfortable for you up there.
There he goes, Nick Kukuru. Nick Kukuru. Wow, they're all getting to the halfway point at this point.
There you go, cousin.
Good walk by Nick. Next up, we have Nick Muse. 6 years on the pole. Friday, 2025. Nick Muse. Who's going to advance? It's a Saturday. He's coming out a little slower, not as fast as the rest. We have Chris Paul, 6 years experience, walking for his family. Well over the halfway point of the first round, which is your courtesy round. Everyone gets one walk. You cannot win it in the first round. Second round is a free-for-all. Chris Paul. There goes Chris Paul, another Pirate.
Looking like Paul Revere out there.
Yeah, we just staged the Battle of Bunker Hill there in Gloucester because of they couldn't do it in Boston this year. That was last week at Stage 4 Park, and that was an impressive event too. So you might see a couple of redcoats out there this weekend.
Drew Aiello, there he goes, another halfway.
What a walk. Drew, it's another Hilltop family member right there.
Drew Aiello. Joseph Kleiss, Jojo Kleiss. This was another one of our picks.
Oh, yeah.
Jojo
He's a
Kleiss,
good
5
walker.
years experience. There he goes. There he goes. There it is. That's the D-Hop walk.
Oh,
Up.
yeah, there we go.
There it is.
Oh, boy.
Straight up, D-Hop. He's straight up.
Oh, yeah.
Looks familiar.
The disco on Crisco.
Jonathan Clooney, walking in memory of his grandfather, Anthony Kukuru. Jonathan Cooney.
And one of the co-founders of the Bridge, folks, Bridge Cape Ann.
That's right, way back in the day.
Hoisting a beer for this kid.
Jonathan Cooney. First round.
Very measured approach.
29th walker, Jonathan Cooney.
Turned out to be a gorgeous day out here, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with D-Hop. 6-time champ, 6 in a row. Going for 7 in a row. The only other person to ever have 7 in a row is Peter Black Frontera. He's going for 7 in a row.
Looking to tie the legend this year.
There he goes, Jonathan Cooney.
Oh,
There he goes. Next up, John Philpott. 4 years experience. We got John Philpott. 30th on the roster of 42. We're getting towards the end of the courtesy round.
Johnny Philpott.
There he goes, John Philpott. Long stride.
Good
He's a
little
tall,
walk.
he's a
Event
big boy.
company boy right there.
great athletic family, the Philpotts.
Here we
Oh,
go,
absolutely.
Jake Schrock walking for his buddy Chris Brown. Jake Schrock, 3 years experience. Jake Schrock.
I've given Schrock a few tips in the bar before.
Oh,
See
you
if it
have?
pays off right here.
All right.
There goes Jake, another pirate. Oh,
Oh, there
Oh.
we go.
He sat and
There
thought about it.
he definitely wasn't listening. Jerry Shimataro, 3 years on the list. Big
Jerry
set-
Shimataro, that's our goalie out there, Hilltop Hockey.
Jerry Shimataro. Another,
Oh,
whoa,
a
good
great
walk,
walk out
Jerry.
of Jerry.
Spirit of 76 out there.
Dylan Orlando, 3 years experience, 33rd
Nope.
Walker.
He's got to follow
Out
in front
of
of us.
42. First round. Dylan Orlando, the 33rd Walker. There he goes. He's slow out of the
Baby
gate.
steps.
There we go.
Terrence Lane, 5 years experience, walking for Vincent Orlando. Terrence Lane. We're getting down to the end. Oh, not a bad walk.
All right.
Not bad at all.
Andrew Makomsky up next. 2 years experience, walking in memory of Phil Makomsky. Before him was actually Josh Carpenter, who's a scratch. He's actually out fishing. There goes Andrew Makomsky.
Ah,
Makomsky's
pretty good
another one
walk
that's had
right
some
there.
good walks
Really
through
good.
the years. Next walker, Marcus Biondo Martin.
I've been hearing some good things about Marcus here.
Marcus Biondo Martin, we're going to see.
Hey, Derek, do you usually wait for the pole to stop wobbling?
Yeah, you give it a minute. You want to make sure you got an even running surface there.
There he goes, Marcus Biondo Martin. Not a bad walk.
No,
Good
not
walk,
bad at all.
quick
Yeah.
strides. Dominic Pioni.
Now, we've got some first-timers now. Well, yep.
Walking in memory of his grandmother, Nonna Maria. Dominic Pioni, walking in memory of his grandmother, Nonna Maria. There he goes, Dominic Pioni. Great high school soccer
Good walk
player.
there.
Tremendous.
The cap went flying.
Went deep into the tournament. Justin Folk, walking for his wife, Gia, and his
Joya.
children,
I
Sky,
know Joya.
Scarlett, and Aiden.
Yeah.
Justin Folk. Oh, there he goes.
Is he in a Speedo up there?
I think there's a few.
I looked
There
up
are
last
a few.
second. A good walk in a Speedo.
Next up is Tyler Rogers, walking in memory of his grandfather, Papa Lou.
This is another
Tyler
great
Rogers,
Oh, yeah.
good friend of Andrew with Streamography.
kid. Always a smile on his face.
Oh,
Even
good
after
fall
that.
tie.
Next up, Steve LeBlanc Jr., his first time walking.
Familiar greasy pole name.
Oh, absolutely.
His dad was a champ.
His father was the stopper.
Yep.
Shut down. He was the first one to win after Peter Black's reign.
There he goes.
There we go. Good walk, Steve.
Last walker, Douglas Massey. The last walker of the courtesy round, and then we go to round 2. Will be up for grabs. There goes Douglas Massey. That's it. The courtesy
Big
round's
fight.
over.
Oh, yeah. Now it begins.
2025 Friday Greasy Pole. It's all up for grabs at this point. The courtesy round's over.
You hear the crowd now. It's up for keeps at this point on. First person to grab the flag wins and is the first walker tomorrow.
Here we go. Frankie Friday Nail. He wants to get rid of the nickname Friday. It's not a great nickname to have. 19 years.
Frankie Saturday.
Frankie Saturday Nail. That's what he wants.
It rolls off the tongue.
Well, and here come the newscopters now.
There he comes.
It's great seeing how big this event's become. It's awesome for the community, awesome for the Fiesta committee.
Frankie Nail, second round, first walker. Frankie Nail. Another great guy.
Derek, what did the first win, that Friday win, mean to you?
I mean, it's unbelievable.
There he goes, Frankie Nail. Frankie Nail. Frankie Nail.
What a walk out of Frankie.
We might not be here long, guys.
It's for everyone, it's a childhood dream when you grow up down here watching every year and you see the guys come up out of the water. They're covered in grease. They've got the flag. You grow up wanting to be that guy. So when you get out there, and we know how hard the list can be to get onto. So when you finally get out there and you get your chance, it's an undescribable feeling to finally take it down.
Second up is Brendan Chipperini. Second round, second walker. Brendan Chipperini. There he goes. He's still a Pirate. Brendan Chipperini. He's been up there a long time. Good
That
guy.
was a hard fall. That was
Brendan
I didn't like that
Chipperini.
fall.
The water's often the worst part of the fall. Yeah. It's not the pole. Sometimes it can be, but when you hit the water wrong, you feel it.
Next up is Joe D'Amico.
This kid's aces,
Joe
too.
D'Amico.
I think his wife is somewhere in front of us. Rebecca.
Joe D'Amico. There he goes, leaning forward. Not a bad, leaning forward a little too much, D-Hop.
Leaning a little bit, but he had the speed. He had the start right there.
Joe Sanfilippo, walking in memory of his grandfather, Gussie Elber and Don Peavy. Joey's had a lot of good walks through the years, talking to a couple of his friends when I mentioned his name. I'm not even going to say what they said. I still think he could have it, though, Joe. They didn't. I'm going to say in a nice way, they said no chance.
No chance.
I'm not going to say
anyone's
names.
flag. It can
That's
be
what that's right,
anyone's
D-Hop.
flag.
I agree. I love that. That's why we love you. Not just because you're the Michael Jordan hair, just because you're just positive.
It's the truth. It's
true.
anyone's.
But that's not what they said, though. I'm just saying. Joe, there he goes. See, Joe still does have it. Joe, there it is, Joe.
Good walk.
Yep. Anthony Palazzola, 17 years. I can't believe some of these kids.
Yeah,
17 and 18 years. I feel like I was playing like their coaches like a couple of years ago. Shows you how old I am.
The sun has dipped behind the clouds. The wind's picked up just a little bit now. It's a little cooler out there for the guys on the platform.
Oh, it's
Anthony
nippy.
Palazzola, there he goes. Anthony Palazzola. Next up is Mike Jacobs, 16 years on the pole. Mike Jacobs.
Yeah, all these guys. I was about 8 years old watching these guys the first time they ever walked.
No.
there's our first.
He got hit in the gagoots.
He can
There
do
it is.
this.
Can he get up, D-Hop?
He can do this.
Can he do it? There he
I've
goes.
never seen it.
Crowd
There he
wants
goes.
it. Go. The crowd
Mike
wants
Jacobs,
it.
he's close. He's doing the shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff.
Oh,
No.
There it is. There it is. He's got to try that. It's not going to work out.
no.
There it is. Get off. That's it. Nice try by Mike Jacobs. He got hit in the area that none of us guys like to even think about. Next up is Leo DiMercurio, walking in memory of his father-in-law, Anthony Militello. Leo's actually had some good walks. His brother won it, was it a couple of years ago his brother won it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Leo, there goes Leo. Leo. Oh, sorry. Oh, got a little chin action. Al Millefogli, walking in memory of his uncle, Peter Russo. Al Millefogli.
Member of the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee, as is his father, longtime member, huge advocates for the event in this city.
Yeah, his family does a lot of great things for this Fiesta, the Fiesta Committee. Got to give the shout out to the Fiesta Committee and thank you to so many people involved.
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot of work to put this event on.
Al Millefogli, not bad.
All right,
Walk,
brother.
Al.
Next up, Cody Zappa, walking for his children, Mason and Matthew.
Cody's hungry for one.
Cody
I was
Zappa.
talking to him at Blue Collar before this.
He wants one.
That's a local drinking establishment, folks.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they probably have us on the big screen down there right now. So shout out to all you guys.
Oh, I think all the places are playing the live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Barn Restaurant. It's another one downtown.
you
a new
name-
restaurant, the Barn
Saltwater
Restaurant.
Grill,
Maria
Machaca,
Sanidi, who owns the
Azorian.
Franklin.
We can go on and on.
You name it, they're
The Cubs
playing
probably
it.
doing
The
it.
Castro's Driving School. Legend Softball. Cody Zappa.
Are you watching on Bridge Cape Ann, folks?
There he goes. There he goes.
Here we go,
Cody
Cody.
Zappa.
Oh,
Oh,
backwards.
that was a big splash.
Yeah, that grease is unforgiving. Doesn't care for anybody.
Gabe Castiello walking in memory of his mother, Carol and Devin Wolf. Gabe Castiello,
He's been out there a long time. He's hungry for one.
14 years.
Oh, awesome. There's a group of 30
Second.
people doing celebratory shots down here.
Second round. Who is going to advance to Saturday?
Been told it was fruit juice.
One of them will do it.
Gabe Castiello. There he goes, Gabe Castiello. Looks like
Good walk,
most people
Gabe.
are getting about halfway. Jonathan Moody, 17 years. Jonathan Moody. $2025 Greasy Pole Friday. 43 contestants up there. We're into the second round with Jonathan Moody. Second round, it's up for grabs. Whoever wins on Friday advances to Saturday. Whoever wins Saturday advances to Sunday. Championship Sunday. Derek Hopkins here with us as a guest. Going down maybe as the greatest walker of all times. He's in the discussion. I know he doesn't like to hear
Settle
it, but
down,
we got
John.
to
It's
a big maybe.
you got to
It's a
talk
big
what it
maybe.
is. You got to talk what it is.
Big maybe. It's anyone's out there.
I agree.
And there's always a guy in front of me.
Absolutely. And there goes Jonathan Moody. Jonathan Moody halfway, and then,
walk.
another tough drop. Here comes one of the favorites.
DeCoste.
D-Hop called, says Cam DeCoste. It's one of his picks.
He's a
Walking in
hilltop
memory
guy.
of his father, Dean DeCoste. Dean, his dad, was an unbelievable guy. Dean DeCoste. Cam's walking in memory of his dad. Can he take one down for dad? Cam DeCoste.
What do we say?
Second round. 12th walker with 12 years experience. He had a great walk his first walk.
Yeah, he did. A lot of grease at the end there. To
Cam
trudge through.
DeCoste. Cam knows, Derek, that he might not get another chance. There's been some really good walks. Cam
definitely.
DeCoste.
Got to capitalize here.
He's taking his time. Shows you the importance of this walk. Cam knows, and there he goes. Cam DeCoste. Cam DeCoste halfway. Cam DeCoste.
Oh, shot out of a
Good
cannon.
walk, Cam. Good
Three
walk.
quarters, and he had a little hiccup that he recovered from too. Cam,
It's one wrong step out of 40.
right.
It's very easy to do.
Andreas Saputo. Andreas Saputo. "14 years experience for Andreas. 12 years on the pole. And there goes Andreas. Not bad out of the gate. Just went off to the wrong side.
Had the speed. Just leaning back a little too much there.
A lot of apple juice, so there could be 2-3 poles
The
that you're
apple
looking
juice
at.
will do it. There's a fine line.
Nick Browning up next. Nick Browning with 12 years experience as well. 43 walk is up there. It can come down now. It's up for grabs. We have Nick Browning. There goes Nick Browning. Nick Browning.
There we go, Nick. Good walk.
Next
Yeah.
up is Dom Nicastro with 12 years experience.
Can Dom take it down?
Dom Nicastro, does he have what it takes to get to Saturday?
It's first come, first serve by now.
What would this family party be like, John?
It would any party at this point. If you take one down, D-Hop knows what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
It would be a bash. Anyone that wins it, it's going to be a bash.
Oh, yeah.
Derek knows better than anyone. He has 6 of them, minus 2 COVID years. It is what it is at this point.
It is.
Dom Nicastro. There he goes, Dom Nicastro, and there he goes, Dom Nicastro. Next up,
Quick drop.
Peter Azzaro. Happy 4th birthday to his daughter, Pia. Peter Azzaro, 12 years on the pole.
Happy birthday, Pia.
Here we go. Peter Azzaro. There he is. I get tired watching him run. He runs so fast, it's insane. But like the people do a 10-minute mile. He's one of those guys that do like a 3 to 4 minute mile.
I mean, he used to crush the road races.
Peter Azzaro, there he goes. Peter Azzaro, he's halfway. Peter Azzaro.
Oh, good walk, brother.
Good showing.
He doesn't run like that, I promise you. Charlie Parmesan up next with 11 years of experience. Charlie Parmesan.
You can see they're taking a little bit longer each walk. You know, you never know. This could be your one shot. You have no idea who's going to grab it. So they're up there making sure that they're ready for this one.
Give it their best shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Charlie Parmesan, good walk halfway.
On the keister.
Here comes Christian Parmesano. Back-to-back Parmesanos with 11 years experience. Joey Parmesano is a champ. Multiple championships for Joey Parmesano. A Fort legend. Him and Jimmy T. When I think of the Fort, I think of Jimmy T and I think of
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe won, what, 78? Something like that. Maybe later.
There he goes. Christian. Tyler Ingersoll up next.
You are watching
for his
round
daughter,
2,
Oakley.
Folks. Round 2, so the first to grab the flag wins and advances to tomorrow's contest, where they'll be the first walker. So we're almost halfway into round 2 here.
Joe Parmesano in 1979. Here we go. Who's going to get to Saturday?
I should say immediately following this, we have the junior women's same boat finals. Joanne Fortier will be here with us for that.
Here we go, Andy.
Ooh.
Good walk.
Good
Team
drop.
5 right there. It's a good walk.
We also want to say that Derek is actually going to be with us tomorrow as well to give us some color commentary
I'll be
for
right
the
back.
event.
Brett Souza, 10 years. 20th walker in the second round.
This is coach and captain, Brett Souza.
Brett Souza, does he have what it takes to get to Saturday?
I like to think he does, but we'll see right here.
There he goes, Brett Souza. Brett Souza,
Good
another
walk.
one
Good
halfway.
speed out of Brett.
Next up, Josh Gove with 10 years experience. Josh Gove. On deck, Nick Taramina. He had probably the best walk, one of the best walks of the first round. Nicky T on deck, but we're going to give this moment to Josh Gove with 10 years of experience. Second round. It's up for grabs. There he goes, Josh Gove. Josh Gove halfway. Josh Gove, three-quarters of the way. Josh Gove, he slowed down. Josh, what a walk,
Great
Josh.
walk right there. Great walk.
It's our walk of the day so far.
Slowed down just a little, Derek.
Got to keep the feet moving.
Nick Taramina, Nicky T, walking in memory of his sister, Jess Taramina. Every year, he comes close. Within an arm's length, has touched the flag, has grabbed the flag. He's done everything but pull that flag to the water. You can see a bunch of swimmers in the water, that some that just enjoying the warmth of it, but some know that it could come down. And here he goes, Nicky T. Nicky T halfway. Nicky T. Oh, he had a big smack. He stumbled. I think he hit a banana.
Like a patch of oil there. Banana peel.
Could have been a banana because it looked like he broke an ankle.
He slid back. He stepped into something there.
Yeah, I think he hit an apple or an orange or a banana.
He was looking strong, though.
He looked
Coming
really
out of the
good.
gate, he was looking good.
Mike Russo walking in memory of his uncle Peter Russo. Come on, Mike. Mike Russo. We're into 2025 Friday, second round. We're over halfway in the second round. Mike Russo, they're all, those ones always hurt.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he says he's okay. We have plenty of lifeguards, the Coast Guard's there, police boats out there. some of the other walkers stay in the water to make sure everyone's okay.
Joe Falzerano, he is 7 years on the pole. Does he have what it takes to get to Saturday? We're going to find out. Joe Falzerano. Like D-Hop was saying, oh, there he goes. Joe Falzerano about halfway. They're all taking a little bit longer.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're feeling ready to go. There's no rush out there. No one's making you go.
Sal Taramina walking in memory of his mom, Josephine Taramina. There he goes, Sal. Another awesome guy, Sal Taramina. Love to see someone like Sal take it down. Come on, Sal. There goes Sal. Good walk, Sal. That was an awesome walk.
When you see those falls from the beach, it's a little different to see them, 10 feet behind on the pole.
Right.
It's some of those falls, that doesn't do it justice from the beach.
He made that shake.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Kukuru. There you go, Corey. This is one of your guys that you want to take it down.
Yeah.
Nick Kukuru.
Sal's married my cousin.
Keep it in the family. Nick Kukuru. He had a decent walk last time.
He did.
He was over halfway. There he goes again. Nick Kukuru halfway again. 3/4 of the way.
Oh!
Nick Kukuru, there's something right at that 3/4
Gotta
point.
get a Kukuru flag.
Nick Kukuru.
Oh, he was right there.
Right there.
If not a touch more, but he was right there.
Two walkers that have slowed down, including Nick right at that end. It's almost like there's an incline. Nick Kukuru,
he had
awesome
to have
walk.
smelled it. Being that close, he had to have smelled it on the way down.
Derek, what do you think about this flag angling outward like that?
Either the wind is blowing more than we think.
Yeah.
Nick Muse slow and steady halfway. Nick Muse picking up some speed.
Either the nails aren't tight enough or the wind is blowing more than we think.
Yeah,
but there's definitely something going on.
It's leaning more and more.
I think it's even more than it was at the start of the day.
I think you're right.
I think it's
on
its way.
I love this with Chris Paul, just walking for his family. And that's what it's all about, family and friends and loved ones. And there goes Chris Paul. Chris Paul's about halfway. Chris Paul.
Good walk.
Good walk by Chris Paul. Make it simple, walking for your family, and I love it. Drew Aiello, another good walker, great guy.
And another hilltop guy here.
He had a good walk last time, too, a little over halfway.
He's been close. He comes out good.
Yeah, he comes out fast.
This could be something here.
Drew Aiello halfway. Drew Aiello.
Come on.
Oh.
Just couldn't hold on.
Here he comes.
That's a way to eat some grease right there, though.
Great walk last time. We have Joseph Kleiss. Jojo.
This could be it.
This could be
There's
it.
a good chance this could be it right here.
He went the furthest, I think, in the first round.
Great walk.
He gets a good start here. I'm thinking this is it.
Second round, 30th walker, Jojo Kleiss, one of the favorites.
And he's been very close before, so.
Here he goes, Jojo Kleiss. Oh, wow. Wow. Next up.
There's a lot that can go wrong. If you come off a little, your first step's off a little bit, it throws you off.
Jonathan Cooney walking in memory of his grandfather, Anthony Kukuru. Jonathan had a good walk his first round, too. He was over halfway. Jonathan Cooney. We're getting deep into the second round. Jonathan Cooney, there he goes. Jonathan Cooney, not a great start. He came out wobbly.
A little wobbly, a little slow.
Next up, John Philpott. John Philpott, tall, long strides.
He's an athlete.
No doubt about it. Good athlete here from the Philpott family. He's got those long strides. There he goes, Jonathan Philpott.
Cross the pole.
Next up, Jake Schrock. D-Hop gave Jake Schrock some advice at a local establishment in the first round. He didn't listen to it. Let's see if he's listening in the second round.
Here we go, Jake.
Jake Schrock, another good athlete. Jake Schrock, another unbelievable kid, too.
We're deep into round two here, folks.
Was he listening to D-Hop? Was he listening? There he goes.
He's got a good walk there.
Yeah, we'll give it to him. Next up is Jerry Shimataro.
That's a hilltop goalie right there.
Jerry
Shimataro.
Got. He was fast out of the gate last time.
Yeah,
Jerry
good
Shimataro,
walk.
real
Good walk
fast out of the gate.
Nice crowd here on the beach today. More beach to play with now with that tide going out.
Yeah.
Jerry just leaning a little bit too much to the right.
Yeah.
Next up is Dylan Orlando. He's got his fan club on the
right
beach.
next to us here.
Dylan Orlando.
Yeah, family close by. I believe I saw his sister. Yeah, she's right down there in front. Here we go, Dylan.
Dylan Orlando. We're getting deep into the second round. There goes Dylan.
Here we go. Get
Dylan
out
Orlando.
there.
He's slow and steady.
Get
Slow
out
and
there.
steady.
I like the
There it
thought of a slow walk winning it. I just like.
Hey, you can win fast. You can win slow. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as you keep the feet moving, you can get out there to the end.
Terrence Orlando walking for Vincent Orlando. Terrence Lane, sorry, walking for Vincent Orlando. Terrence Lane walking for Vincent Orlando. Next up, Andrew McComsky walking in memory of Phil McComsky. There he goes, Andrew McComsky, fast out of the
Got a
gate.
good
Andrew
walk.
McComsky.
Pretty good.
Sometimes you lean a little bit too much, and you just know that you can't recover from it. And that's when you see those jumps off right there like that. You know you've leaned a little too far.
Marcus Biondo Martin. D-Hop said that he has some talent here.
Yeah, I heard some good things about Marcus here.
There goes Marcus. Marcus, good start. Marcus halfway.
Oh, it's a good walk.
Impressive.
Dominic Pioni walking in memory of his great-grandmother, Nona Maria. Dominic Pioni. Many good athletes up there, and this is one of them. Dominic Pioni. Second round deep. There goes Dominic Pioni. Good start. Straight up. Dominic Pioni.
Right
3/4. Dominic Pioni.
That's a
Dominic
good,
Pioni.
oh!
That's the best walk yet.
I mean, that hand mark at the end of the pole looks like it's a foot away.
Right.
I
He
mean,
needed
one more step,
one more
I think.
step,
One more
especially
step.
the way that flag's leaning.
The way it's leaning, you're going to have momentum coming off that pole.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks like it's ready to fall, as long as you can get a hand on it.
Justin
But you
Fichette.
got to get out there.
It's happened before, folks. The flag has fallen on its own.
Justin Fichette. There he goes. Justin Fichette walking for his wife, Gia, and his children, Sky, Scarlett, and Aiden. Next up, Tyler Rogers.
Here we go, Tyler.
Tyler Rogers walking in memory of his grandfather, Papa Lou. Tyler Rogers, there he goes. Tyler Rogers, halfway.
Get out there, Ty.
Steve LeBlanc walking next. Steve LeBlanc Jr.
You're in the end of round two here, folks. First to grab the flag is your winner.
Steve LeBlanc Jr. Second to left.
There
There
we
he
go.
goes,
Come
Steve
on.
LeBlanc. Oh. The last walker of the second
one.
round is Douglas Massey. There he goes, Douglas Massey, last walker in the second round.
Oh, good
And
walk.
here we go.
All right,
Into
let's set the
round
table
three.
once again, guys. So if you're just tuning in, welcome to St. Peter's Fiesta here in Gloucester, Massachusetts. You're looking out Pavilion Beach. It is a 2025 Greasy Pole. We are entering round three. Today's winner is the first walker tomorrow. Joining me is John DeCastro, as always, and a special guest, Derek Hopkins, six-time champ, going for his fifth Sunday win in a row tomorrow and seventh straight flag. Great to have you both with us, as always.
Great to be here.
We're back to the top of the order.
Best weekend of the year right here.
Oh, man, you said it.
Here we go, 2025 Friday Greasy Pole, third round. First walker of the third round is Frankie Friday Nail, trying to get rid of that nickname after 19 years.
That's a long time to be walking the pole.
Yeah.
I'm not that much older than 19. 24, 19. I mean, that's a long time to be out there.
You probably don't want to know how long we've been broadcasting this then, Derek.
I won't ask then if that's the case.
Frankie Nail taking his time. He knows it's going to be
Here
a
we
Frankie
go.
Nail. Frankie
Here we
Nail.
go,
Frankie
Frankie.
Nail
What do you
halfway.
say?
Frankie
Come
Nail
on,
three-quarters
Frankie.
of the way.
Oh,
Frankie Nail.
Oh, man.
Wow, that flag is
that's
going
a
to fall
great
off.
walk.
That flag is way over now. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, you can see it moving there.
Oh, no.
Oh,
there it
the
goes.
flag is down. That will
no,
not count.
Does it count? It does. I don't know.
I don't think it does,
Don't
right?
know.
He has to.
We're going to have to go to the rule book. I think you have to
I don't
grab
know.
it. He
Hey,
wants
Everyone
hold it
stand
up.
on the platform.
Hold it up at least.
Frankie's not a guy I think that would take that one anyway.
You might be getting mixed emotions off the pole right now. Is it his? Is it not?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't touch it, but the Fiesta committee.
They're pulling out the book right now, flipping pages,
yeah,
looking for the exact article.
No, well, I can already see the Coast Guard making its way in, so they're going to need to help get that flag back in.
Yeah. It might have been just a little too late after the fall.
Yeah.
I honestly wonder what that is, because he was a couple feet away from the flag. He never laid a body part on it.
But the closer you get, the more it shakes. And you could see it kind of, feathering off each time the pole bounced there.
Got to put another railroad spike into this one.
Oh, man. They don't come out easy. I learned that from experience. They put the big boys in. You got to go straight through the end.
Wow. Frankie Neal got to the end. The flag is bouncing. He just didn't grab it. Frankie Neal, first walker, third round. The flag came down, but he didn't grab it.
All right, and you see the police boat coming out now. They will help get that flag back into place, and we'll continue with round 3. Frankie Neal just then, that walker was the first walker of round 3. So we've already surpassed last on Friday, that greasy pole. His first man who grabs the flag wins. They become the first walker tomorrow. We do it all over again. Saturday's winner advances to Sunday, and they will be the first walker then. The second walker will be Derek Hopkins. Yeah, while we have a moment, we got to give a big tip of the hat to Salty Orr and the women's senior sailboat races, John.
Wow.
I mean, they blew the doors off the competition today, and they had hard competition too.
That was incredible, unbelievable, especially that it was their first year rowing in the senior at all. That's absolutely unbelievable, like what they did. All kinds of props to Salty Orr, your 2025 senior women's champs. Right now we have a little bit of a delay. The flag came off the pole without anyone grabbing it, so they're going to just nail it back up and continue the third round, which we're in the second walker of the third round. Whoever wins this will go to Saturday. We're just waiting for them to nail it up.
Yep, and we're here with Derek Hopkins. He has won 6 of these contests in a row. 2019, he won Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday, the natural hat trick. And then we took 2 years off for COVID. Remember that one, everyone? And then after that, 2022, 3, and 4. D-Hop won on those consecutive Sundays. And he's going to, he's looking to make history this Sunday. And so he'll be with us tomorrow to help us with some color commentary. Immediately following today's Greasy Pole, we have the women's junior sailboat finals with Joanne Frontiero, the matriarch of women's sailboat racing here in Gloucester, whereas we celebrate 30 years of women's rowing here as part of the St. Peter's Fiesta. And that is going to be the Stroke Sisters versus Riptide versus Powerful. And those crews are actually out there now. You can see them bobbing around in Gloucester Harbor here too. So we'll have that for you as well. And then tomorrow we will have the men's senior semifinals, followed by the Saturday Greasy Pole, immediately followed by the men's junior semifinals. And then Championship Sunday, where it's going to be the men's senior sailboat finals, the Sunday Greasy Pole, can Derek Hopkins do it again, and the men's junior sailboat finals. This is the 98th year of St. Peter's Fiesta here in Gloucester, Massachusetts. You're looking live at Pavilion Beach. We are in a bit of a delay now because the flag inadvertently came down. It was a victim of the wind and a lot of wobble with a lot of walks we've had so far. We've had almost 90 walks so far this afternoon, and it just got jostled out, so they are affixing that back to the end of the pole. And then we'll get going again with walker number 2 in the third round will be Brendan Ciparini. And you see all the guys out there on the platform. That's a 12-by-12 platform about 200 yards off the beach here in Gloucester. It may not seem like that, but it is. You can also see that the tide is actually going out. We have a larger crowd here on the beach this year because there's more real estate to work with. Now, with a lower tide, that means it's a longer drop from the pole for the walkers, but it's a shorter swim back to shore. And when someone grabs that flag this afternoon, they're going to be hoisted on the shoulders of the fellow walkers, carried up here to the beach in front of everyone here, the throng, and they make their way up Beach Court, right past us where we're doing today's broadcast, down Commercial Street where there's a greasy pole shrine, and then the altar in St. Peter's Square, and then who knows what else is going to happen that winter. It's going to be a long night of fun, and then, hey, back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the senior same boats tomorrow, men's division. So we have ZFG is your 2024 champs, and they won it in 22 as well. The coach is Paul Gigaloni and Mike Harmons, the scuttler. Wednesday's eliminations, you had the 3 favorites that were supposed to win those races, take down those races, which was Chaos, who's a 7-time champ. They'll be racing tomorrow against Midnight Hammer. That boat has Vito Gigaloni as the coach, and you also have Joe Belbo as the scuttler. And then you have Iron Wake, one on Wednesday as well. So you'll have Chaos, Midnight Hammer, and Iron Wake. That is Andy Orlando's crew with Iron Wake. So you have 3 crews, going to be a great race going up against ZFG. 2 of those crews, 2 of the crews will advance to Sunday against ZFG, your 2024 champs. So tomorrow, seniors, Chaos, Midnight Hammer, and Iron Wake.
Folks, since we have time, we might as well give you some fun facts here about the greasy pole. This competition actually started in the Mediterranean in Italy around 1350. The early greasy poles here were actually done off where the Fort Playground is. If you're familiar with the area, that would be to the left of the platform. It was pretty dangerous, though, back then, so they actually moved to this platform. But back then, that was 1931 when the greasy pole began. I remember because my great-uncle Red was actually a participant in that first greasy pole back in 1931. Like we said, that platform is about 12 by 12. There's a 46-foot-long pole covered in biodegradable grease. 40 feet of that pole projects out over the platform with a flag nailed to its end. You're going to actually witness that momentarily. And depending on that tide, that pole can be 25 feet above the water. It is a low tide now. Low tide here in Gloucester is just before 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But it also means there's a shorter swim back to shore. And it's because those guys are going to be pretty exhausted coming back in. It's a long swim. 2 football fields coming in. Think about that for a second. And these guys have been out for hours, pre-gaming, getting ready, doing the family cookout thing, hopping around from place to place, chanting Viva St.Peter. It's a full day and a full weekend of events. Now, this platform was actually destroyed in a storm in 2011 and was rebuilt by the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee and the community for $85,000, which is great. And it stays in the water here year-round.
And they're not allowed, if you walk in the pool, Corey, so once you get into the official pool, 18 minimum, you're not allowed to practice at all. So you can't swim out there and practice on it. So these guys, their only walks are now, unless they've walked in the past. With us is Derek Hopkins. Derek Hopkins is a 6-time champion, 6 in a row, 2019, 22, 23, and 24. 2019 was the three-peat, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He's going after 7 in a row, which would tie Peter Black Frontero, who won it 7 years in a row from 87 to 93. Peter Black won it in 1984, which he was 14 years old. Now you have to be 18 years old to walk it, but he won it when he was 14 years old, Corey. We remember because we were kids when he was a kid. He's older than us, but he was 14 years old. Now you have to be 18.
He was a part of Fiesta in our childhoods as Zazitz was.
Yeah, and
fried dough.
Peter Black Frontero, who walked and walked for his dad, is Joe Black Frontero. Back then they didn't have Friday, so he never even walked a Saturday because he walked for his dad on Sunday, who was a champ as well. So Peter never walked a Friday or a Saturday. So he has 9 titles, 7 in a row. All 9 are on Sunday. Other greats that we have for walkers that are just fun factoids for you is Selvey Benson has 10 titles. When Selvey walks, some of the controversies are that he used to be able to walk Saturday and Sunday. So from 67 to 71, he could walk Saturday and Sunday. So he had 4 Saturday championships. Can't take that away from him, that's for sure.
He also won 4 Sundays in a row.
Yeah, he had 4 Sundays in a row, and then he has 6 Sundays together, so he has 10 total. Jake Wood, another all-time great. He was the first one to ever have the three-peat, right? Because it was the first year, 1999 is when Friday came in. Yep. And Jake Wood took it down Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in 99. And then he did 2002, 3, 5, and 6, giving him 7 total. Stu McGilvery's on the list of the greats ever. He had the three-peat in 2004, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then he had 2008, 9, 10, and 12, giving him 6. Anthony Mazza Giamunco, and I got a great story to share with Anthony, directly from Anthony. God bless Anthony Mazza Giamunco, one of the greats. He's just the sheriff, they called him. He was in charge out there. Anthony Mazza Giamunco. So we tell you that the courtesy round, you're not allowed to take down the pole. For years, people, I'm going to have to look it up later, and I'll give you the year. But one year, someone took the pole down in the first round, which you're not allowed to do. There was all kinds of murmurs that somebody punched the guy, this and that. And this is old school, you remember, people, so it's a little different than the way today is. You can't blink at some people wrong without them getting offended. But Anthony Mazza Giamunco, this came directly from Mazza's mouth. I saw him, and I said, Mazza, I go, I need to get that story right for announcing, right? And I said, what happened the guy took it in the first round? Like, what happened? He goes, everyone thinks that I, just chased him down and just beat him up. That's not how it went. He goes, he took it down in the first round when we told him, you can't take it down in the first round. And he said, I'm taking it in the first round. And he did. And he took it in the first round. As he was swimming in, Anthony jumped in the water after him and swam after him. And Mazza said, listen, you can't take it in the first round. We told you, just give us the flag so we can put it back up. I competed against Mazza in flag football, and he was a gentleman. No, he was always a gentleman, right? He's not a guy that would have a cheap shot someone or anything like that. He said he waved the flag at him, trying to hit him. And Mazza said, and I'll never forget this because it's a typical Mazza comment. He said, listen, you wave that flag at me one more time, I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich. That's what he said. He goes, that's exactly what I said to him. And he waved the flag at me. And he goes, I gave him one knuckle sandwich, and that was it. He goes, I took the flag, we went it back out. He goes, that's the truth. And it's just a great story. That's directly from Mazza, and it's just a great story. God bless Mazza.
Did Mazza win that year?
I'm going to look in my notes and see what year it was. But Mazza's got 5 total. 1975 was his first on a Saturday, and then he repeated on Sunday in 75, and then he had 77, 78, and 80. I have that in my notes somewhere because it was just such a great story of Mazza.
You can't.
I'm gonna have to look that. It was just such it is such Mazza. Anyone that knows it, because Mazza's not a type of guy. If he says he did something, he was a very true, honest guy. He was the best.
My father was young at the time. He told me the story. He said he was down the beach as a kid. He saw it happen.
Unbelievable.
He saw them rough him up. He said, "You're not taking this flag."
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna give you a knuckle sandwich. That's what he said.
Roughed them up. They went back out. And they continued the event.
And D-Hop's dad was a champ as well. What year did he win it, Derek?
He won 96, 97.
96, 97. And he did something similar that Derek did. Was it 96? Or 97?
It was 97.
97. You tell the story.
So he walked out to the end, and similar to Mazza, he stopped and he stood at the end, and he held the flag, and he just stood there for a minute. He put his fist up in the air. He kind of shook the grease off his feet, and then he tried to pull the flag off, and he fell without it. So he popped off a couple nails. The flag spun upside down, and he sat in the water, and he was looking up at the flag, and he was like, "Oh my God, I left it up there." And then there happened to be, a tall guy. He was in the water, and he kind of grabbed my dad, and he pedaled his feet, and he lifted up. My dad was able to reach the flag from the water, and he pulled it off. And some of the guys didn't like that. They're, I'll effing kill you if you take that flag. So he just pushed the flag in the water, and, it's not that important. and he swam to the ladder, and he came back up. And an entire round went by. No one got it. He got up again the same day. He walked out through the end, and this time he didn't let go of it. He made sure he went down with
I
it.
legit remember that whole thing clear as day. It was awesome.
I do too.
The fact that it got all the way around again and it just happened to go back to him. And he got
the odds of that,
Well, then you did it. So in 96, it happened to Derek's dad in second round. It didn't come down. It got back to him in the third round. He took it down. And then last year, D-Hop did the same exact. He went to the end, but he grabbed the flag, twisted it down, and the flag didn't come down. And then it got all the way back to D-Hop, and he took it down in the third round, identical to the way his dad did.
Unbelievable.
It was just awesome.
Yeah.
It was just a great story.
I was fortunate for it to come around.
Yeah.
But at that point, I just when it happened to me, and I sat in the water, I looked up at it, and I knew, you can't take it off. It was high tide, so I could reach it without any assistance. I could reach it. I never touched it from the water, and I just looked at it, and I was like, God damn, it happened to me too. What are the odds of that? And I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And I gave a chant from the water. I had the whole pole was chanting with me. And then I went up, and I was ready for the next guy to win because I didn't think it was coming back around to me at all. I had no shred of hope. I just, that was the end. And then, thankfully, I guess it did come back around, and I got my chance. And that time, I made sure to grab it with two hands.
So tell us your walking style, because to be able to just dominate the way you dominate, and I've seen other videos before you even got on as an adult. Like you walk into the end of the pole after the greasy pole's over. I saw the video myself that you walk to the end after a greasy pole, right? You weren't old enough to compete at that time, so you went out, you walked to the end of the greasy pole, and then walked all the way back. Like, what is the form that you can do things like that?
The thing is, you walk sideways, of course. It's similar to skateboarding or snowboarding. You either have your left foot forward or your right foot forward. So you either face the beach or you face the boats. And as soon as you got that down, you pretty much just keep the feet moving.
Do you look at the flag, or do you look in front of you?
No, you look, I don't know, roughly 4 or 5 feet in front of you. But always 4 or 5. You don't look like halfway, and then you get halfway, and now you're looking down at your feet. Now you're screwed. Now you're not looking ahead. So it's always about 4 or 5 feet in front of you, and you just continue to scan. You keep your feet moving. I personally think you have to have a decent pace. You don't have to be too fast. You don't have to be slow, but somewhere in the middle, as long as you keep your feet going and you keep your head forward, and then you try to adjust as you fall during your walk.
Right. When you get to when you think of the greats, like Peter Black, Selvie Benson, Jake Wood, Stu McGillivray, Anthony Mazza, they all had a similar pace. They weren't too fast. They weren't too slow. I didn't get the privilege to see Selvie Benson during during the heart of his career, but the rest had that similar. They all had that pace, and I don't know if Selvie did not, but they weren't too fast, too slow. The ones that were consistent.
I think you have to find the even ground there.
Yeah.
And there's guys who walk real fast. Vinny Parisi, he's like lightning out there.
Cliffy Carlson. Cliffy Carlson. It's like a bolt.
You come out fast, you come out slow.
Oh, no, there it goes again.
So, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But to me personally, I feel more comfortable going at a middle pace and being able to correct. If you lean one way or the other, you can usually kick your knees out or try to kick your knees back, and that can help you out.
One thing there it goes. It looks like it's going back in. And we're going to be.
Is it going to stay?
Is it going to stay? It's starting to move.
That's the thing. What's going to happen tomorrow? Are they going to put the big nails back in?
Don't say it, Derek.
Who knows? They've done it before. They'll do it again.
Yeah, the end of that pole is so chewed up from nails.
Yeah.
It's very chewed up. So they'll often put a new piece of plywood on the end, and they'll use some long lag bolts, and they'll lag it in so they have something newer to tack into. But sometimes it's still, I'm sure it wears away quick.
Here we go. Brendan Ciparini, third round, second walker. Brendan Ciparini.
All right, this is walker number 2 in round 3.
Brendan Ciparini. After a brief little delay because the flag came down without anyone grabbing it.
Yeah, I know the committee's likened the end of that pole to the end of a cigar.
Brendan Ciparini.
Oh.
There it is.
Good walk.
Third walker, third round, Joe D'Amico.
I don't think it's going to go past this round today. I think one of these guys, there's been a lot of close walks. I think this will be it.
They're cold up there, I can imagine that.
Oh, yeah. Sun starts going away. And you can see those flags behind the pole starting to move.
Yep.
Or they've been moving, but when you come out of the water, you feel that wind.
Joe D'Amico had a good walk. Joe D'Amico, there he goes, halfway.
walk,
Joe
Joe.
D'Amico.
Good bid.
Good walk by Joe D'Amico.
I think that sun's going to duck away for good now, looks like.
It might be. Tomorrow's not looking great. The last I checked.
It was better than we thought, but what do you think?
I haven't checked in a little bit. I know it changes pretty frequently when you look on your phone, but I'm hoping they get something good, but it wasn't looking good the past week.
Joe Sanfilippo walking in memory of his grandfather, Gussie Albert and Don Peavy. Here we go, Joe Sanfilippo. Third round, fourth walker. 2025, Friday Greasy Pole, trying to advance to Saturday. Joe Sanfilippo, does he have what it takes? Joe Sanfilippo has come close in many different years. Joe Sanfilippo, 17 years. There goes Joe Sanfilippo. Quick strokes, Joe Sanfilippo. Not a bad walk by Joe. Next up is Anthony Pelazzola. Anthony Pelazzola in the third round, beginning of third round. Anthony Pelazzola. There's been a lot of good walks. A little bit of a delay, so some of these guys are cold. Can they pull themselves back together and get some good walks? Anthony Pelazzola, there he goes. Anthony Pelazzola halfway. Next up is Mike Jacobs.
Not only have the walkers been out there for a while, but you have the junior women's crews out there who've just been idling for an hour.
Yeah.
Mike Jacobs quick. Mike Jacobs.
It was so quick, I missed the whole
I
walk.
missed the start. Leo DiMercurio walking in memory of his father-in-law, Anthony Militello.
I got to think this is going to take a pretty good grip to get that flag off the pole now.
Leo DiMercurio. There we go. Leo DiMercurio. There's a silence on the beach. Usually doesn't happen often. Leo DiMercurio. Seventh walker of the third round. Leo DiMercurio. There he goes. Leo DiMercurio halfway. Leo DiMercurio. Leo DiMercurio.
And a flip.
Al Milifogli. Al Milifogli walking in memory of his uncle, Peter Russo. Al Milifogli.
What do you say, Al?
Come on, Al. We're into the third round with a delay. The beach will start to get restless. It happened in the past. Al Milifogli. The beach doesn't like when you get it too early. They don't like it when you get it too late.
You got to find the golden zone for the beach.
D-Hop loves the second round, second walker take. That's his favorite.
That's a great spot.
Right.
Here we go. Good
there
walk.
There goes Al Milifogli.
Go,
Al Milifogli. Al Milifogli.
Little walk out of Al right there.
A little chin music at the end. He was staring at that flag.
I mean, you almost can't get much closer than that without taking it down.
That's going to be a picture for the ages for Al. Al Milifogli. All the way to the end. Less than an arm's length away. Al Milifogli. They're going to have to wait for the pole to stop shaking.
That would have been pretty
He
sweet.
hit hard. A great walk by Al Milifogli. His dad's speechless. Al Milifogli with a phenomenal walk. Wow. Next up is Cody Zappa. Walking for his children, Mason and Matthew. Cody Zappa. There's just a little chunk of grease at the end.
That's all it takes, though. That one step.
That's
it. That did me in last year.
And I believe Cody is the 95th walk of the day here.
95 walk.
Cody
Come on,
Zappa. Cody Zappa.
Uh-oh.
Cody Zappa.
Oh.
One of his vintage 3/4 walks.
He's been close so many times.
Wow. Gabe Castiello walking in memory of his mother Carol and Devin Wolf.
Gabe Castiello's been
Gabe
close before,
Castiello.
too. He's been out there.
Wow. There's that little bit of grease at the end now. But like Derek said, it can cause problems.
Oh, absolutely.
Caused Derek a problem in the second round last year.
I was lucky the way I fell.
Oh, yeah.
I was very lucky.
Here we go. Gabe Castiello. Little hiccup, and he
Stay
goes
up,
through the
Gabe.
hiccup.
Stay
Gabe
up, Gabe.
Castiello. Oh.
We're getting there,
Good
boys.
walk. Yeah, they're getting close.
Jonathan Moody. He had a good walk. Jonathan Moody. We're in the third round. Friday Greasy Pole. Jonathan Moody. We're going to have one champion here that goes to Saturday. Who's it going to be? Will it be Jonathan Moody? Jonathan Moody.
And they've got a pretty low tide by now. It's been going out this whole time.
17
good
years
drop.
of experience on Friday. Jonathan Moody. Taking his time, knowing that this is going to be most likely his last
could
walk.
be it. I don't think it's going to go beyond 3, so he doesn't take it here.
Jonathan Moody. Cam DeCoste on deck. Is he going to give Cam his third chance? Or is this going to be Jonathan Moody's moment? Jonathan Moody. Third round. 11th walker. 17 years experience. Is that a recipe for a title?
I mean, absolutely. 17 years.
And he's had good walks in the years. There he goes, Jonathan Moody. Jonathan
go,
Moody
Jonathan
halfway.
Moody, get out there.
Jonathan Moody.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Now,
Jonathan
wait a
Moody.
Hanging on. He's hanging
Jonathan
on.
Moody, and nope, is a little too slippery.
Cam DeCoste.
Cam DeCoste,
He's-
walking
he's
in
a-
memory of his father, Dean DeCoste.
And he's a fan favorite out there. He's been close before.
Many times. Cam DeCoste. The beach is starting to get a little bit restless, especially with a little bit of a delay.
And
The
with
flag
that sun
fell
going away
down.
now.
The flag fell. No one touched it. It just came out. But it's back up. Cam DeCoste is up in the third round. Friday, Greasy Pole. Cameron DeCoste walking for his dad. And there goes Cameron DeCoste fast out of the
Good
gate.
speed, good
Cameron
speed, good
DeCoste!
speed. Oh!
He did it again. He grazed the flag. Cameron
Oh,
DeCoste
what a walk out of Cam.
literally grazed the flag.
Wow.
He does it every year.
Just gonna
Literally,
wrap around it.
literally not even a thumb away. Cam DeCoste has so many videos of that. So close. But next up is Andrea Saputo. Wow. Andrea Saputo. It keeps going in the third round. Andrea Saputo, after Cam DeCoste literally came less than a finger away.
I mean, I think he grazed it. I think he grazed on his way down. That was close.
Andrea Saputo. It keeps going in the third round. Andreas Saputo. $2025 Greasy Pole Friday. There goes Andrea Saputo halfway. There goes Andrea
Good walk.
Saputo. Just a little bit
good
off to the
walk
left.
there.
Good walk. Nick Browning. Up next is Nick Browning. The third round continues.
This is now, gentlemen, the 100th walk of the afternoon.
100th walk, huh?
Now,
Nick.
last year on Saturday, Tyler Parisi won. He was the 159th walker.
159.
in the fourth
4
round.
rounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long day. It was cold. 159, though. That's
That's a long afternoon.
that is a long afternoon.
There he goes. Nick
Here we go.
Browning.
Get out there, Nick
Hey,
Browning.
Nick
Get out there,
Browning.
Nick Browning.
Ooh. Dominic Castro, 12 years on the pole. See what Dom can do. Last walk, I blinked and I missed it. Dom Nicastro. Here we go, third round. The sun's gone down, the wind's picked up.
The Fiesta clouds, if you would, have rolled in.
There goes Dom Nicastro. He doubled up his last one. He went from 2 to 4 steps. Peter Azzaro.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Happy fourth birthday to his daughter, Pia. Happy birthday, Pia, again. At least you're getting these birthday wishes, Pia. Can Peter take it down for you? Peter Azzaro. "12 years on the pole." Peter Azzaro. He has long strides. We're all taking a little bit longer. There goes Peter Azzaro. Peter Azzaro. Peter Azzaro's off the pool.
Not quite.
Charlie Parmesan.
And if you're just tuning in, folks, you're watching the 2025 Greasy Pole Contest and Sailboat Races live from Pavilion Beach in Gloucester. It is the 98th St. Peter's Fiesta. We're with you all weekend long, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are nearing the middle of round 3. The first walker to grab the flag is your winner, and we are the first walker tomorrow.
Charlie
Some
Parmesan.
good speed coming out there. Charlie Parmesan.
Next up, Christian Parmesan. We're approaching the halfway point of the third round with Christian Parmesan. We're looking for a Friday winner to advance to Saturday. There goes Christian Parmesan. Next up is Tyler Ingersoll. Tyler Ingersoll.
All right, let's grab a flag.
I think we're getting close here. We got some good walkers coming up.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come down soon.
Tyler Ingersoll.
There you go, Angie. Team 5, right here. What do we say?
Stiff tailwind for the walkers.
I can help you out there, though.
Tyler's taking his time as more and more grease comes off.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah. Tyler Ingersoll. There he goes, Tyler Ingersoll.
He knew it.
Good dive.
Sometimes you know early. If you're leaning, that's it.
Brett Souza.
Save the body and jump off. Dive off.
When was your first year walking, D?
It was 2019.
Oh, that was the first?
Yeah.
I was on the list 2018. I was 17, though. Someone complained that I was only 17.
Oh, yeah.
So I was on the list for a week or two. And then I got kicked off. And then the next year I came back. Now I was 18. There was nothing anyone could say.
Brett Souza.
Brett Souza.
Brett Souza, good walk.
Good dive.
Josh Gove had a good walk in the second round.
He did.
Can he follow it up with a little bit better of a walk in the third round? Just to think Peter Black won it when he was 14.
14. I wish I could have gone out there when I was 14. I would have loved it. Yeah, times are different.
Yep.
Times are different.
Josh Gove.
My great-uncle Frank Catania, he won in 1959 on Saturday.
Josh
Oh,
Gove,
what a walk.
Josh Gove. Another good walk by Josh Gove.
He was out there.
There
But
we
yeah, great-uncle Frank Catania, he was
Yeah.
14 years old, 1959. He went up the ladder. The old guys used to, they'd sometimes kick him off the ladder, or when they'd get up there, they'd be like, you're not walking, you're a young kid. And it went round after round. No one was winning it. So finally, they looked at my great-uncle. They said, go ahead, young boy. Give it a try. Give it a try.
I love
He
it.
went out, went right to the end. He grabbed it. And he was about 14 years old or something.
Wow.
And that was back in 1959.
Just
That's
genetic.
So the times have changed, though. You can't just swim out at 14 years old and they let you walk.
Nicky T's up. Nick Taramina walking in memory of his sister, Jess Taramina.
He's had some strong walks today.
He's been out there before.
There he goes, Nicky T. Nicky T halfway.
Ooh.
Nicky
Nicky
T,
T,
3
come
quarters.
on.
Oh.
Good
The press-
walk, Nicky. Good
You
walk.
know as the pressure mounts.
Couple hiccups.
The pressure mounts. Consistency's it all.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Russo,
Russo had
walking,
a good walk, didn't he, last round?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he did.
walking in memory of his uncle Peter Russo.
A lot of cheers from the beach for Mikey.
Mikey Russo. There he goes, Mike
he goes.
Russo,
That's a
Mike
good
Russo.
walk.
He slipped the wrong way.
Oh, my, he had the
D-Hop.
speed.
He slipped the wrong way. If he slips forward, he might slip right into it.
Might
He
penguin
slipped
slide
back.
into it, you know?
Oh, he slipped backwards. Mike Russo, great walk, Mike. Next up, Joe Falzerano. Oh, he slipped the wrong way. Joe Falzerano. We're getting well over the halfway point of the third round.
You see a lot of heads hanging out in the water there.
Yep.
I think they know it's coming down soon. They don't find it worth
And
going up the ladder.
The air's got to be cold, too.
Oh, yeah.
There he goes. Joe
looking
Falzerano.
steady.
Joe
He's looking
Falzerano.
steady.
Oh, another good walk.
Man.
Joe Falzerano.
We are getting there.
Both over the 3/4 of the way. Sal Taramina had a good walk last time.
He did.
Sal had a great walk last time.
He crushed the pole on the way down, though.
Yeah, walking in memory of his mom, Josephine Taramina. Come on, Sal, take one down for Mom. You had a great walk last time. You probably need one more step. Sal Taramina, does he have what it takes to be the 2025 Friday champion? A great walk in the second round, and there goes Sal. He's out the gate halfway, leaning forward. Oh.
Yeah, he means it when he goes.
Oh, he leans forward hard, and I feel bad for the pole. He hit just like football. He hits the same way as the pole as he does in football.
I wouldn't spray any rubbing alcohol on my chest tonight if I was.
I would never want to be on the opposite side of the ball against him. He just crushes you. Wow. Nick Kukuru. He had a good walk. Nick Kukuru, 26th walker of the third round. Nick Kukuru. People are getting closer and closer. The walkers are getting closer and closer.
Could be anyone at this point.
Anybody.
Anybody.
Nick Kukuru.
I'm not saying anything.
There he goes, Nick Kukuru. Good start. Nick Kukuru is about halfway.
Yeah.
Nick Kukuru's
got
3/4 of the
it.
way. Nick Kukuru! Oh, he
God,
Nick
he was
Kukuru.
right there.
He dove for it and missed it.
man.
It would have been a photo finish.
I thought he had it there. I thought he
Wow.
had it.
He went 40 feet to the end and dove and just missed it.
Man. Put a pin in that for a
Wow.
replay. Oh,
Nick
he
Kukuru.
just waved past it.
Now it's Nick Muse. Nick Kukuru just missed it.
I'm not sure you can get closer than
Wow.
that. Similar. We've seen a couple walks like that.
Wow.
They were right there.
I thought for sure that was coming down. Wow. Nick Muse, here we go. A lot of close walks at this point. Third round, well over the halfway point. Nick Muse. There goes Nick Muse, slow walk. There he goes, and he's off.
Steady, playing it safe.
Chris Paul walking for his family. Chris Paul. The Junior Girls Championship after this, same boats.
Yeah, we have Joanne Frontiero waiting patiently in the bullpen.
Right?
We've had a handful of really close calls, folks. We are on the verge.
Chris Paul, there he goes. Chris Paul halfway. Chris
speed.
Paul, three
Paul.
quarters. Chris Paul, another one.
Come on.
Another one. They're hitting
they're
something
getting
there.
it right there. There's something they're putting underneath.
Nick Kukru with the dive and just missed it. Chris Paul slipped.
I mean, they're all getting real close now.
Wow. Chris
Drew
Paul,
Aiello,
another one. Drew Aiello's had a couple good walks.
Oh, yeah, he's been close
fast.
before. He's a hilltop. He's a hilltop guy
I can
here.
see it going here. I can see one of the next two walkers taking it down. Is JoJo going to get a chance?
One of these two.
Or is it going to be Drew Aiello?
You see more guys in the water now to stay warm and maybe anticipate a flag grab here.
Yep.
Drew Aiello with a couple walks late into the third round on Friday. There goes Drew Aiello. Drew Aiello's halfway. Drew Aiello, little over halfway.
Goes into something there. Takes him down. Good walk
JoJo
out of
Clace, a good walk. His first walk. His second walk, he just went off line. Can he pull it together for his third walk?
I'm thinking so. I've seen him get so close. I think this is it right here.
JoJo Clace, third round deep. It's not going to get back to him. JoJo Clace, if he's going to take it, it has to be now. His moment has to be now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right here.
2025 Friday. The 30th walker in the third round is JoJo Clace, Joseph Clace. People are scraping the flag. The last 3 out of 5 walkers, and there goes JoJo Clace. JoJo Clace halfway. JoJo Clace 3 quarters away. JoJo Clace. JoJo Clace.
He's got it.
JoJo Clace. Your 2025 Friday champ. D-Hop called it. 2025 Friday champ. JoJo Joseph Clace.
There you go, folks. We're going to focus on Joe in the water with the other swimmers. They're going to carry him up the shore, make the swim back in.
D-Hop called it. JoJo Clace, a great walk.
He's had good walk after good walk, year after year. It was bound to come. Absolutely bound to come.
JoJo Clace, 2025 Friday champion.
I think it was Walker 115 or 116 today. Great run.
Wow, a lot of good walks, but the day belongs to Joseph JoJo Clace, 2025 Friday champion.
And how cool is this shot, folks? Everyone helping Joe. They're going to hoist him up now, bring him into shore. And they'll be walking right past us here, which is great. He is your 2025 Friday champion, Joe Clace. He'll be your first walker tomorrow.
He'll be your first walker tomorrow, no doubt about it, JoJo Clace.
Welcome to the Saturday Pole. First, there's nothing like the first walk.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Untouched grease from start to finish, and you get to be the one to open it up.
And he had 5 years of walking under his belt. It was nice to see him advance, you know?
Oh, absolutely. He was one of the kids. We were out there when we were younger. When I was 12, 13, 14, he was one of the guys that would be out there, so it's well-deserved.
Yeah. Great stuff.
There it is, JoJo Clace, your 2025 Friday champion. He's swimming in. People pulling him down. D-Hop, you know what that's like? People yanking on you. You feel like you're going to drown.
It's, it's crazy. It almost goes by so fast you don't even know. You can't even remember exactly.
Wow, here he is, 2025 Friday champion is Joseph Clace. Going to be the first walker on Saturday. And will he have what it takes on Saturday to advance the championship Sunday and be the first walker on Sunday to go up against his buddy, Derek D-Hop Hopkins? 6-time champion, 6 in a row. He's going for the tie of 7 in a row. Peter Black Frontiero has 7 in a row. Derek D-Hop Hopkins is going for that record.
Yeah, D, how you feeling about it? You feel all right?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited.
Pretty cool position to be in, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Last year was sick, dude. I watching last year. That was pretty badass.
He karate kicked him.
I mean, I got lucky. I fell straight back, and thankfully I was going fast enough that my momentum carried forward. But to be honest, I was lucky at the end of the day that I fell the way I did.
Yeah,
but you have to put yourself in a position to be lucky, and you did.
I suppose so.
That's
I'll
what
take
it's
it.
about.
I'll take
there
that.
he is. Look
There's
at
a
that. Look
champion
at that.
shot right there,
the
man.
championship splash. Joseph Kleiss, Jojo Kleiss, your 2025 Friday champion, going to be carried up the beach.
Earned it today.
No doubt. Third round. He had a great walk in the first round. Second round, just slipped a little bit. He regrouped for the third round and took it down right through the flag. Here he comes.
Oh, yeah. It's a moment you cannot forget. I mean, it's unbelievable right here.
Joseph Kleiss being carried onto the beach. The 2025 Friday champion. Joseph Kleiss, they're giving him all kinds of fruit punch and water and apple juice. They're trying to hydrate him.
Victory drink.
They're trying to hydrate him.
You got to have a couple.
Yep, there he is, Joseph Kleiss, the 2025 Friday champion.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, Joe.
Joseph Kleiss,
Oh,
your
yeah.
2025 Friday champ. He'll be the first walker on Saturday. Joseph Kleiss.
Unbelievable. Great stuff. And there he is being carried up Beach Court towards the Greasy Pole Shrine. My next door neighbor, Eric Spear, does that Greasy Pole Shrine every year. Awesome job with that.
Oh, yeah.
Then they'll take him to the altar.
What does that feel like, D-Hop, right there? Walk us through it.
It's an incredible feeling. It's one of those things, like I said, you grow up watching it happen, and you always, you dream one day that you get to be that guy heading up there. And it honestly, it happens so quick. Before you know it, the whole night's over. And, that couple minutes that you ride up, you take in every moment that you have, and then before you know it, it's all over. But it's something that you won't forget for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we're so happy that you can join us tomorrow, too, to see who's going to be walking in front of you on Sunday as you go for your 7th straight flag. Derek Hopkins, thanks so much for spending some time with us,
thank
man.
you guys
that was
for
a fun
having me.
one, right?
Well, unbelievable.
That was a great poll.
More
It always
drama.
is.
I love it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love it.
Yeah. All right, we're going to be right back after this with the final for the junior women's same boat with Joanne Frontero. Stay tuned.
The following special presentation of the 2025 St. Peter's Fiesta, live from Gloucester, Massachusetts, is brought to you by St. Peter's Fiesta Incorporated, Bridge Cape Ann, Streamography Productions, 1623 Studios, and Live Now from Fox. Welcome to Pavilion Beach in Gloucester, Massachusetts, for live coverage of St. Peter's Fiesta, a nearly 100-year-old religious tradition brought here from Sicily, where faith meets fierce competition on the water. For 3 days, we're bringing you wall-to-wall coverage of two of Fiesta's most iconic events, the Seine Boat Races, born right here as friendly rivalries between Italian fishing crews, racing the very boats they use to feed their families and our community. And the Greasy Pole Contest, a tradition dating back to 15th century Europe, once seen as a measure of manhood, now the most popular attraction on Cape Ann. This year, history and bragging rights are on the line. We'll have a bird's eye view of the elimination and final races in the women's, juniors, and men's divisions. And we all want to know, will Derek Hopkins win his 7th straight Greasy Pole flag? Whether you're here in Gloucester or watching from an ocean away, Viva St.Peter! This is St. Peter's Fiesta. The following special presentation of the 2025 St. Peter's Fiesta, live from Gloucester, Massachusetts, is brought to you by St. Peter's Fiesta Incorporated, Bridge Cape Ann, Streamography Productions, 1623 Studios, and Live Now from Fox. Welcome to Pavilion Beach in Gloucester, Massachusetts, for live coverage of St. Peter's Fiesta, a nearly 100-year-old religious tradition brought here from Sicily, where faith meets fierce competition on the water. For 3 days, we're bringing you wall-to-wall coverage of two of Fiesta's most iconic events, the Seine Boat Races, born right here as friendly rivalries between Italian fishing crews, racing the very boats they use to feed their families and our community. And the Greasy Pole Contest, a tradition dating back to 15th century Europe. Once seen as a measure of manhood, now the most popular attraction on Cape Ann. This year, history and bragging rights are on the line. We'll have a bird's eye view of the elimination and final races in the women's, juniors, and men's divisions. And we all want to know, will Derek Hopkins win his 7th straight Greasy Pole flag? Whether you're here in Gloucester or watching from an ocean away, Viva St.Peter! This is St. Peter's Fiesta. The following special...
And we're back here at Pavilion Beach getting ready for the women's junior same boat final. Joanne Frontiero is back with us once again, the matriarch of women's same boat racing here in Gloucester. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Pretty exciting greasy pole, though, right?
I guess it was.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. All right, so what we have coming up now is Stroke Sisters versus Riptide versus Pow or Full. Now, I believe last year's champions, Lady Luke's, moved up because they won 2 years in a row. Is that?
And there's an age thing too.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
Got to be under 19.
Okay, so we're going to get to that. We'll get to those rosters real quickly. The crews are out here behind us in the harbor getting ready, so we can turn around, folks.
Okay.
And Isaac, you can pull up the weather conditions right now. We'll see what's changed since we started a couple hours ago. So here is today's schedule. Here we have the women's junior same boat final happening right now. And currently on Pavilion Beach, it was dropped a couple degrees. We're down to 66 degrees.
Pull it out.
That wind is now south-southeast, 12 miles per hour, so it's picked up a little bit. And that tide is even lower. You see a lot more beach in front of us now. That low tide is going to hit around 7:30 tonight. And there's a little bit of chop right now, but that wind has definitely picked up since we had the senior finals to kick things off when Salty Orr ran away with it. I actually saw Nikki Parisi from Age and Treachery, and she's been a co-host in the past, and she just had a big frown at first, and then she was like, but she was okay with it, So, awesome. All right, Joanne, just a couple words, I guess, on the juniors competing and what this means to have these young women involved in the same boat races like this.
Okay, Riptide is a new crew this year.
Yeah.
And the other two have been here before. The winner from last year, like you said, moved up. So now it's anybody's race. There's no defending champ. And it took a while for us to be able to get juniors. But eventually there were so many women interested that they decided to allow us to have juniors. And it always started out that we could have like 3 crews. That was it. Yeah. And then now it's open. Yeah. I mean, women's had 9. So. Yeah.
And we were saying earlier how many women's crews tried out at both levels this year, which was awesome to see.
Yes, there was 9, and I think there was 5 in the juniors. 9 seniors.
Great. All right, so we have, guys, today's lineups for the same boat race for the women's junior final, which is happening momentarily. All right. Go ahead, okay. Joanne.
Okay, I'm going to do the red flag first. Riptide.
No, wait, we got the Stroke Sisters.
Oh, Stroke Sisters?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The scuttler is Alex Rodolosi. The coxswain is Ashley Smith. The rowers are Sky Berry, Maya Jewell, Lexi Carollo, Anna Hafey, Ariana Scola, Siri Hale, Abby Lothers, Keegan Jewell, Dylan Gattano, and Eliana Parsons.
All right. And they are in the Nina, and they'll be chasing the red flag.
Blue, right? Is it red?
What do you have?
Blue. I have blue.
Blue? Okay, they're chasing the blue flag. That'll be on the left of your screen.
Okay.
Yes, Riptide.
Riptide, okay. Scuttler, Karen Conan, Cox, Cindy Perry. Rowers, Ava Orlando, Julia Sanfilippo, Cassidy Kleptowski, Cecilia Souza, Cece Weigel, Malia Balcom, Chloe Young, Ella Brown, Annette Love, and Carson Kleptowski.
Yeah, Carson Kleptowski, yeah. And they are in the Pinta, and do you know what lane they are in?
They are in the red.
Red lane, gotcha, all right.
Powerful. They will be in the white in the Santa Maria. Scuttler, Monica Banks, Cox, Alex Rose. Rowers, Alexis Mateo, Cam Carroll, Jordan Park, Molly Taramina, Olivia Madruga, Aurelia Lord, Emily Pelazzola, Kaya Minio, Morgan Penimpede, and Madison Battle. I hope I got those names right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. All right, so I think we're waiting for one of the crews to come into focus here.
It's like they're over here.
And yeah, just as you saw before, folks, we're going to have three crews racing against one another. They're going to form together here, try to line up as best they can as they sort of creep their way out towards the flags. There is a red, white, and blue flag a half mile off the beach here, and they're going to go straight out, make that turn, and the first to come back and reach Pavilion Beach will be your winner. The winners get an American flag. The second place team gets to hoist an Italian flag, and it's really all about the bragging rights and the camaraderie amongst the crew and the other rowers.
Absolutely.
And again, Joanne, these are juniors, so they're under 19 years old.
Under 19, yes.
Under 19, using the same boats and the same oars. The oars are 40 pounds an oar.
Yeah.
They're using the same boat and the same oars. Girls that are anywhere between like 14 and 18 years old.
And the
It's pretty
same
impressive.
mile, half mile
Same.
out and half mile in.
It's impressive.
It is.
Because it's not easy.
It's not. And in the eliminations, there was a crew that were all 8th graders. And they compete against, people that are 18 years old.
Yeah,
so
women, they're almost,
to,
yeah.
to just see them out there pulling that oar and staying together, they looked really good. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't come in, but they did a great job.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. They just don't have that strength yet, but they will get it.
right.
Get that little bit of an experience.
Joanne, now you see the current conditions. Can you describe to folks at home what these crews are going to be dealing with?
Okay, it looks like we still have the wind going left to right. So it still looks, now I'm looking at those boats over there. I don't know if they're going to be in the way on the left side here by the red flag.
Yeah, I see it, yep. On the police boats here.
Yeah, because they may have to start a little bit high. So, but weather conditions, it looks a little bit calmer, but I'm not really sure.
I feel so.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
I feel it's a little
Think it is?
calmer. Just a little bit. Yeah.
I think the surf's a little calmer. I think the wind's picked up
Picked
since
up.
the
Yeah.
women
Yes.
seniors.
I think so too, yeah, you're right.
Like we said earlier, the turn is huge. So you got to play the wind right, no doubt. The
And
scuttle is
these
going to
young
play it.
girls are pulling 5 oars on one side to turn that board
Right,
around
right,
with the scuttler.
right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Teens. They're teens.
Yep.
Teenage girls, which is incredible. Same exact race as the women seniors, same exact race as the boy juniors, same exact race as the men seniors. That's what these girls are doing.
Yep.
There's nothing different. The same
Same
oars.
boats, same oars.
Everything's exactly the same.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, the times aren't that far off. It really isn't. The junior boys and the junior girls.
Really?
There's a time difference, but it's still impressive.
Oh, yeah. So everyone's just kind of getting in position right now. It's really difficult to sort of line these boats up, say nose to nose to nose. So you'll see some posturing. This is what we call feathering as they try to get themselves in position. And then they're just going to try to creep ever so slightly above the, by that, say, starting point. And you'll see crew actually hold their arms up when they are ready. But you have to wait for the third set of arms to go up before it's an official start.
Also, I'd like to mention, too, in the red and the white flag, I believe it's those two, they're women scuttlers.
Yes.
And one male over in the blue.
That's correct.
Yep. So we have scuttling Riptide is Karen Conant, and then scuttling Powerful is Monica Banks. So we have
Right.
2 women scuttlers, 3 women coaches, Ashley Smith, Cindy Perry, and Alex Rose. The coaches are keeping harmony, making sure everyone's in sync, maybe making what's called a move where you might take some harder strokes, harder strokes. But the best way I like to say for people that really don't, what does the coach exactly do? It's like the director of an orchestra, keeping everyone in harmony, keeping everything in sync. It's a very important position.
She does probably more than most people think because she's got to make sure if she sees somebody getting out of sync, she's got to tell them watch your oar, or if their oar twists, you tell them fix your oar because if they crab an oar, they mess up the whole side.
Right.
So you're really watching a lot.
Right. And some people lay back more than others, and they sometimes got to be careful of that. So here we go. We have Stroke Sisters to the left, Powerful in the middle, Riptide to the right.
And we do want to point out for the locals who know the area really well, since we're doing this through drone footage, you're actually seeing an appropriate photo. To us, it's almost in reverse direction. So, in other words, Stroke Sisters in that blue lane is actually closest to the cut bridge. Riptide closest to the greasy pole. So it's just, trust us, this is what makes sense. It's a little confusing for us here in the booth.
It was confusing for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here we go, the Junior 2025 Sailboat Championship between Stroke Sisters, Powerful, and Riptide. We're going to have a new champion.
Yeah, now this might seem tedious to folks who aren't aware of how this works, but we're going against the tide to begin with, so the longer you sort of drift, you got to kind of start over and get back into position again.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, they're lining it back up.
Oh, no, and I also want to ask you, Joanne, so obviously there was a pretty long greasy pole, right?
Yes.
So the girls were out there idling for quite some time.
It's horrible.
That's horrible, yeah.
It's horrible.
You're just
waiting.
stiffening up,
You're
or-
just sitting there, and you really can't row around much. I mean, you can a little bit back here, but yeah, you're just sitting there nervous, wanting to get started and get it over with.
Unfortunately, these crews are facing a little bit of crosswind. They're pushing the boat around.
Yep, so that's what we're hearing now. So you can notice that crosswind out there, which is actually pushing the boats down, say, towards the cupboard if you know the area, or to the right side of your screen if you're watching from out of town. So that's why it's just taking a little longer to get them in position. I'm going to assume it'll be a relatively fast start once we get going. But again, this is for all the marbles, so, you got to, you kind of want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have a new champ, and you kind of want to make it work for you, too. So I remember in the men's senior finals last year, it's like it took a good 15, 20 minutes for us to get off to a start.
Really?
There was so much posturing and feathering and false starts.
Oh, they won't give an inch.
No.
You'll probably see it again in the men's race. I know in the elimination race, even this Saturday, it's very, very competitive.
And we'll make another point again that tomorrow morning, if you're local and want to come down to the beach at 10 in the morning, the first responders sailboat race happens amongst the Gloucester Police Department, Gloucester Fire Department, and the Coast Guard. And our own Phil Francis will actually be on the police department boat, and then he'll be joining us for coverage later in the day. So I'm sure we're going to hear all about, well, it depends how it goes, whether we hear all about it or not.
You'll see a lot of parents out here cheering their kids on. I had the pleasure of being able to row with my granddaughter. She started a junior crew, and she asked me to help them and, teach them and stuff. And the second year in, we did win. And I'll tell you, it's like one of the proudest moments. And you see a child or your grandchild at that age doing what you do, and it was just great.
Oh,
it was a
that's
great feeling.
fantastic.
Congratulations to Salty Ore 2025
Yes.
Friday
Great
Women's
race.
Champions.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if they timed these things, but geez, they came in fast.
They did.
They had a slow start, and it didn't really matter.
They made it up in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cruise to victory today over two really experienced teams.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Joseph Kleiss, Jojo Kleiss, your 2025 Greasy Pole Champ Friday. And here we are in the junior Sailboat Championship.
Might get a
All
little
three
bit
are
of
lined
sun
up,
back here.
ready to go. They're getting ready. They're feathering, Joanne. 3 boats lined up, ready to go.
We're getting
Juniors,
there.
here they go.
Go.
Hands are up.
And
There
they're
they go,
off.
and they're off. There they go. All 3 boats are off. You have Stroke Sisters to the left, Powerful in the middle, and Riptide to the right. Yeah, it looks like Powerful in the middle got a nice start and came out with a quick lead. So we have Powerful in the middle, Stroke Sisters to the left. Looks like a slight lead by Powerful.
Powerful, yeah, off to a nice start here. And you even notice compared to the earlier race, how they're positionally just different because of that crosswind. They started actually closer to the greasy pole.
Right, because it would push them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we are, Powerful in the middle, and Stroke Sisters to the left, real close. It looks like Powerful up by a little bit.
So what are the important points, Joanne, that you're trying to hammer home to a younger crew making their way out to the flag? What
Stay together.
Yep.
Mostly stay together, lay back, use your legs. If you roll all arms, you just get too tired and you burn out. So you try to really teach them to use their legs to push their legs and back.
So we have Powerful in the middle. Looks like they might be up by about a quarter of a boat. Stroke Sisters to the left. Riptides to the right in third place. Powerful in the middle. Going for the white flag. Stroke Sisters to the left. Going for the blue flag. And then to the right is Riptide. They're going for the red flag.
Nice clean lanes out there, so good job by the flotilla and the police.
Powerful looks like they have a little quicker stroke than the other boat.
What a great view by the drone footage.
Oh, great.
Beautiful.
Another thing you can really pick up on this, Joanne, is the straight lines that we're shooting for here too, right?
Yeah. They're gaining.
Stroke Sisters to the left in the Nina.
Yep.
Going for the blue flag. Powerful in the middle in the Santa Maria with a slight lead over Stroke Sisters. A half a mile out. They'll turn that flag. 5 oars will come out of the water. Five oars stay in the water and pull. And they got to turn the boat around. A 3,000-pound boat. That's 30 feet long. The Junior Division Championship. Girls Division. Who's going to be your 2025 champion? Is it going to be Powerful in the middle, Stroke Sisters to the left, or Riptide to the right?
Powerful is...
Stroke Sisters is gaining now,
Yeah, Powerful,
and they
took a turn here.
They actually look like they picked up their stroke, too.
Stroke Sisters
they're
looks like
passing
they're
them.
taking a lead right now.
Yep.
You are watching the
They're adjusting.
Women's Junior Sailboat Final here at Pavilion Beach. I'm Corey Kukru alongside John DeCastro and special guest Joanne Frontiero, the matriarch of women's sailboat racing and rowing here in Gloucester, who was part of this event from its inception 30 years ago.
Wow, look at this. It looks like a dead heat.
It does.
It looks like a dead heat between Powerful and
The
Stroke
turn will
Sisters.
be big. And Stroke Sisters. All right, that's Alex Scuttlin.
Alex
Powerful is
Rodolosi and
Monica.
Monica Banks. It's going to come down to the turn. And Stroke Sisters now look like they took the lead again. They're going back and forth. It looks like a dead heat.
Well, they almost pulled this off last year against the Lady Hooks.
Who did? Stroke Sisters?
Yeah.
It looks like they're a little ahead.
Wow. What a race. We have the Stroke Sisters to the left, Powerful in the middle, Riptide to the right. It looks like the Stroke Sisters might be up by a seat. What a race. A half a mile out. Turn the flag and a half a mile back. Whoever hits the beach first wins.
The turn and endurance on the way home.
Yeah, especially with kids this young.
With kids,
With kids this young. Being able to pace yourself, and this is where the coach really comes into play. You can't burn out. This isn't an easy race by any means. So it looks like Stroke Sisters might have a slight lead over Powerful in the middle. Stroke Sisters to the left in the Nina.
Looks like they're gaining a bigger lead now.
Riptide to the right, giving it what they have. Always give props to all three crews.
So Joe, what can you attribute that to? Is it just more uniform strokes, stronger pulls?
Probably staying together, strength, endurance, stroke speed, all those things factor into it.
Yeah, because the coach could say, give me 5 quick
10,
ones,
yep.
10 quick ones.
Yep.
Just to give a little jump start. Get it in, go from 4th gear to 5th gear.
Yeah, and they'll probably pick the stroke up a little bit more and pull a little bit harder when they're approaching the flag to get the momentum of the boat up.
Here comes Stroke Sisters, just up by a little bit. It looks like it's real close. They're both going into the turn, a dead heat going into the turn between Stroke Sisters and Powerful. Both have nice strokes. They're going
angling
back and forth.
They're angling
Here
into
come
the
the
flag.
flags.
Here they come.
We'll see how these go.
Here they go. The Stroke
Sisters hit
Sisters
it
went
first.
directly at the flag.
See how they come out.
Powerful took a little bit wide of a turn. Who's going to get this boat around? 5 oars came out of the water. 5 oars of turning this boat around. 5, can they get out? Both boats are trying to get out of it. It looks like Stroke Sisters.
Sisters is out of it. They're
Stroke
back in the
Sisters is
water.
out.
They're back in the water, Stroke Sisters.
Here they come. Stroke Sisters definitely came out a little bit quicker. Powerful's going to have to gain a little bit. It looks like Stroke Sisters gained about a half a boat.
Yep.
Looks like they're about 2/3 of a boat up.
Yep. Powerful's going to have to make a move at some point, no doubt. Riptide to the right.
Yeah, Riptide to the right is approaching the flag. Stroke Sisters and Powerful are on their way home.
Yeah, they go. It looks like Stroke Sisters are picking up momentum up by about a boat. Stroke Sisters looks like they're giving it a little bit extra here, pulling away up by about a boat or a little bit more.
Yeah, and that vessel to the far left is the Fiesta committee boat that follows along with the rowers.
They're probably a little over a boat ahead of him now.
Yep, Stroke
They're
Sisters
gaining
with a great
coming
turn.
home. Yep.
Stroke Sisters with a great turn. Picked up at least a half a quarter to 3/4 of a boat on the turn. Alex
Yes.
Rodolosi, the scuttler. Ashley Smith, the coach. Just a tremendous job by the turning side. Gained about a boat, and they look like they're up by about a boat and a half at this point.
Yep.
Stroke Sisters to the left in the Nina. Does Powerful have enough to make up that difference on the way home? It's not easy to do.
They get about a two and a half boat lead now.
Yeah.
So
they're
how
pulling
hard
away.
is it to make up?
Really hard.
Yeah.
Those boats don't move. Years ago when we had the wooden boats, you could make them jump, I think, easier than you can these. They're fiberglass. And they jumped a little bit easier than these do.
To the left, Stroke Sisters starting to pick up a little bit of speed here. It looks like they're up by a boat and a half to maybe even 2 boats or more. It looks like it's about 2 boats at this point.
Strong showing.
Great showing by Powerful in the middle. Do they have enough in their tank to make one move?
And Riptide is now back in the water. They just made the turn.
Riptide took the turn. Good job. To the left, Stroke Sisters with about a boat and a half.
They're still together. Still get a good stroke.
They have a nice stroke.
Yep.
They have a nice stroke.
And where are they finding the strength now?
Adrenaline.
Yeah?
Yeah. Especially now, a new champion.
Right.
First time, it looks like they're up closer to maybe 2 boats at this point.
Now, I'm not sure of the total ages, but what would happen? They could possibly, they'll be back here this time next year?
They should be, unless any of them are 19 or older.
Yep.
Then they'd have to either replace those rowers or move up to seniors.
It's a little bit of a mix. I see a couple that are about 19.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch that are under 19, definitely.
Yeah, and the Stroke Sisters look really strong now.
They're opening it up.
Stroke Sisters to the left. Stroke Sisters look like they're up by about 3 boats after a great turn by Alex Rodolosi on the turning side. No doubt about that. Since the turn, they haven't looked back going into the turn. They were a dead heat between Stroke Sisters and Powerful. And now it looks like Stroke Sisters pulling away.
And now they are making their way slowly towards the greasy pole.
And here comes the greasy pole shuffle.
Yeah, can you explain that for folks who don't
Sure.
know?
When we hit the greasy pole, the coxswain will yell out, greasy pole shuffle, and everybody pulls with everything they got left and picks up the stroke and just pulls that boat with their adrenaline and their strength all the way home.
And that breeze is picking up again. Don't know if that'll be a factor.
Here they come, Stroke Sisters. To the left, looks like they're going to be a 2025 Junior Girls Division champs. In the middle, Powerful with a great race. Just fell up a little short. And to the right, you have Riptide, giving it everything they have.
Riptide is the new crew, by the way,
Yeah.
this year. They never rode before, so.
Oh, hats off to
Awesome.
them.
Yep.
Get your experience and reps in now, because you can't do it for a full year in these boats.
And it's always cool seeing people on the beach creep closer and closer to the water as the boats come in.
Here comes the Stroke
A
Sisters.
lot of them are the parents. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Still a nice stroke. Still both, and both of them. Powerful has a really good stroke too. Both
Yeah.
of them coming in.
And we will be here same time tomorrow and Sunday bringing you more sailboat racing and greasy pole action. Our coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow we have the semifinals for the men's senior and men's junior divisions. And then you saw Joe Kleiss win the greasy pole a little while ago. He'll be your first walker tomorrow. On Sunday we have the finals for the men's senior sailboats and the junior men's as well. And then we'll see if Derek Hopkins can get his 7th flag in a row. But right now we have the Stroke Sisters cruising their way towards victory here at Pavilion Beach. We'll let the pictures do the talking.
Yeah.
So, Andy, you can also just fill us in on that feeling, right? Those girls are feeling right now.
Right now, being the new champions, they're thrilled. They're thrilled. Can I say their names again?
Absolutely.
Yep, here comes the Stroke Sisters, your 2025 Friday Junior Girls Camp.
Alex Rodolosi, Scudler. Ashley Smith, Cox. Sky Berry, Maya Jewell, Lexi Carollo, Anna Hafey, Ariana Scola, Siri Hale, Abby Leathers, Keegan Jewell, Dylan Gaetano, and Eliana Parsons. Congratulations, ladies.
And there you have it. There's the American flag.
Great
to the Stroke
job.
Sisters.
Great job by the Stroke Sisters. And here comes Powerful hitting the beach second.
Yeah.
Riptide coming in. But your 2025 Junior Girls Division champs is Stroke Sisters, the new champs.
Always a great visual right there.
And when Riptide comes in to show the good sportsmanship, usually everybody on the beach will stand there and clap for them.
That's awesome.
Awesome job. Congratulations to Stroke Sisters,
Yep.
the Junior Girls champs.
And a great showing by Powerful, as we said. And Riptide making the way towards the greasy pole right now. As Joanne said, the first time that team's been together. Great shot there.
It was a good race.
It was.
Great race. Proud of them.
Awesome job. All three crews. It's not an easy thing to do.
That's our feeder program.
Right, absolutely. The farm system. It's great.
Yep.
Yeah, and there they are embracing family and friends right now. And here come some of the members. Powerful to congratulate the Stroke Sisters.
See, they're all clapping.
Yep. And here they come. Riptide getting that nice stroke in, getting some experience. Riptide coming in as well.
Yeah, finish up strong, Riptide.
Good job, girls.
Yeah.
For your 2025 Friday champions for the Junior Girls Division, Stroke Sisters. And here comes Riptide.
The Riptide is just about to reach the beach.
Yeah. Great job.
Awesome job, all three crews. Not easy to do. The 2025 Junior Division Girls Champs, Stroke Sisters.
All right,
They'll be
fantastic
defending
stuff.
their title next year.
Yeah. Joey, we might have to have you back for that, unless why not do something with Nikki Parisi if she's back
Can you
here
have
rowing again.
Okay, that's a deal.
All right, so Stroke Sisters is your junior women's sailboat champs. There they are celebrating and holding the American flag, and they now have bragging rights for a calendar year. And we are back. Corey Cooker here alongside John Castro and Joanne Frontiero. What a great afternoon that was. I guess, quickly, Joanne, let's just talk about what we saw earlier today with Salty Ore and then what we just witnessed with the Stroke Sisters.
Well, Salty Ore, they came out of nowhere. They had an elimination race and won against two really good veteran crews and ended up, they had a three-peat. They won their elimination, they won the second one, and they won today. So,
Yeah. In really
good for
impressive
them.
fashion.
Very
too.
impressive.
Yeah,
yes.
because they had the start at the two most important parts of the race is the start and the turn. And their start, well, they came out of the gate very slow.
Slow.
And then they get After that, it was like an engine got put on.
They blew doors
I felt
off.
it was like a Yamaha.
Strength
Like,
and endurance,
yeah,
and that's
that was
what made them win.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, we just saw the Stroke Sisters in the junior division. They won pretty handily as well, and they looked great the whole way doing it.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Great race.
Yeah.
Great race.
All right, and congratulations to Joe Kleiss, the Friday Greasy Pole winner. He'll be first walker tomorrow. And like I said, we'll have the semifinals in the men's senior and junior divisions. We want to thank everyone who helped make this broadcast possible. Joanne, that was a real pleasure to spend some time with you today.
Thank you so much, Corey.
Thank you.
Same here.
It was great
Right
getting
back
some
at
advice
you.
from the matriarch.
Thanks for everything you did to help put this event on the map and
Thank
get women
you.
involved.
Thank
And we can't wait to work with you again.
I would love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great job. Thank
All right,
you.
folks,
Thank
until
you.
4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, we'll be back with more coverage of the 98th St. Peter's Fiesta here in Gloucester, Massachusetts. For Joanne Frontier on John and Castor and Derek Hopkins, I'm Corey Kukru. We will see you then. Bona Fiesta.
Bona Fiesta.
Bona Fiesta.
Be safe. God bless.
Or do-it-yourselfer, the Building Center makes ordering supplies as simple as a click. Just go to our website and get real-time pricing 24/7 on everything we stock, from lumber to nails to decking. You can even schedule your delivery when you need it. Have a question on a specific product? Use our new text feature that goes straight to our sales counter for fast answers. Get the supplies you need, manage your payments online, and save time. The Building Center. We make building easier. If